It's Monday, July 27th. Today, sleeping rough. He's a Manitoba housing tenant, but he's taking refuge in his car. Why he says conditions are so poor he can't go back, and the response from officials. Also today, the art of finding a fake. Why forgeries are becoming more common and how experts are using AI to find the phonies. Plus, when it comes to coffee, how much is too much? A new study finds additional health benefits of drinking coffee. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, I'm Daniel Homerson, joined by Catherine Dow. Now, Catherine, no coffee this early is too much coffee, am I right?
No coffee. Look, I can't even wrap my head around that because the coffee hasn't kicked in yet. The limit does not exist. I've had 2 cups this morning. How about you?
2.5.
2.5?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Monday morning. Should be closer to 3. And this Monday morning, Tandy Vera is over at Drop and Dance on Portage Avenue, getting a sneak peek at an upcoming musical. It's Heathers, the musical based off the 1989 cult classic film. So we're going to hear all about that as we move through the show. Pretty nice weekend out. Another hot one in store today.
A good day for croquet, if you've seen Heathers. That's a Heathers reference. Yes, it's looking to be balmy out there. So if you're wanting to get some time in and outside and you're not loving that heat, early morning hours are the time to do it because it's 18 degrees, so still pretty balmy as we kick off the day. 1 or 2 clouds here or there. Winds are light out of the northeast. Pressure is rising. Humidity sitting at 97%. So yes, more sunshine on the way, and with that heat, some more instability. You can see pockets here or there of some rainfall and thunderstorm activity. Again, those kind of flare-ups that are very disorganized don't amount to prolonged storms, but still, with this heat and the moisture in the air, that can always kind of trigger it. In terms of our heat as well, we've had these ongoing heat warnings blanketing much of southern Manitoba. Likely they're going to stay in effect at least through the day. However, as temperatures do slip here or there, they could be lifted. But for the most part, we're under this pretty locked-in heat dome currently in southern Manitoba. So this heat event won't be extreme, but it will be prolonged for sure by Environment and Climate Change Canada's forecasts anyway. Meanwhile, you're seeing this disruption here in the northeast. It's likely to clip through pretty quick, while the rest of us will deal with a low chance of rain and thunderstorms throughout the day. More likely, though, a mix of sun and cloud. You can see a couple upstarts here or there, and then that more dense cloud coverage at the very northerly portion of our province. Then into tomorrow, you start to see that system take shape. Another chance of rain and thunderstorm for us in southern Manitoba, much stronger to the north. Temperatures there staying pretty warm. Speaking of temperatures, we're getting up to a high of 29 degrees, and then wow, are we up and away into tomorrow, sweltering at 32 by Tuesday.
A senior living in Manitoba housing says he's been sleeping in his car because of the condition of his apartment. Walter Drummond lives in a 55-plus building in St. Agathe, and he says flooding damaged the carpet and the odor left behind forced him onto the street. CTV's Jeff Keel has more.
It's not home sweet home when Walter Drummond puts his head on his pillow.
I'm broke. I'm a pensioner, so I couldn't afford a hotel myself, so I just stayed in my car.
Drummond's usual home is this 55-plus building in St. Agathe, run by Manitoba Housing. He says since last fall, there have been flooding issues, including a sewer backup. Drummond says fans and dehumidifiers were brought in, but still, the carpet is wet and stained. He says this created an odor that impacted his health, so he went to see his doctor.
My doctor on Monday advised me not to go back into the suite.
He felt he had no choice but to sleep in his car, which he has done every night this week. The first time he parked here overnight at the Fort Richmond Plaza on Pembina Highway. But he didn't feel safe.
I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I was freaking out.
Since then, his girlfriend has let him park the car in her driveway, where he says he has more peace of mind. Still, Drummond believes Manitoba Housing could be doing more to fix his apartment and find him somewhere to stay.
I was thinking, what has housing done to me? Like, I've been screaming at them to have a contractor come out.
It appears action is being taken. In a statement, a provincial spokesperson says Manitoba Housing's tenant service coordinator has connected with Mr. Drummond and helped with alternative arrangements as we work on the unit, which is on track to be completed on Monday. Every Manitoban should have a safe and secure place to call home, and our government will continue to work until everyone has access to the dignified housing they deserve. Drummond hopes this is the last time he has a car roof over his head when he closes his eyes.
Maybe I'll have a good evening tonight at a hotel where I could be more safer.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The provincial spokesperson also says when a situation like this arises, tenants are encouraged to reach out so they can connect them with supports. As for why Drummond is sleeping in his girlfriend's driveway, he says they've been dating for less than 2 weeks and aren't in the phase of the relationship where he could stay overnight yet. A local developer is appealing a variance for a large housing project adjacent to the Granite Curling Club. John Winthrop, who lives across the river, is appealing the variances previously approved for the 12-story mixed-use building. The city permitted the building to reach 126 feet instead of the normally allowed 100 feet and made some allowances for parking stall size and landscaping. Winthrop is appealing on the grounds that the project does not comply with the zoning bylaw and says the project as approved doesn't fit with the neighborhood. An appeal hearing is set for next Thursday. The project has been at the center of a dispute between the city and the nearby curling club, which is worried about the loss of its parking spaces. More than 130 wildfires are now burning across British Columbia.
The areas in BC, especially in the southern half of the province, have dry fuels that are receptive to ignition. And so when we get the conditions we've seen recently with lightning, especially when it's not coming with rain, and that heat and dry weather and wind, it makes it really easy for new fires to ignite and for those fires to burn aggressively.
The BC Wildfire Service says it's at capacity with its resources, but help is on the way. Working with the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre, crews and resources will start arriving today with 25 personnel from Yukon Protective Service, 65 from Alberta Wildfire are coming tomorrow, and 114 personnel from Mexico will arrive August 3rd. There's also planned evacuation set to take place today for residents of 70 Mile House and surrounding areas after the Pear Lake and 59 Creek wildfires merged Saturday evening. Emergency crews are also battling major wildfires in Spain and France. The fire in southwestern France is threatening the city of Bordeaux. This fire is at about 42,000 hectares in size. A bit of good news is that it did not grow overnight. However, officials say the situation can take a turn later this week when temperatures heat up. About 220,000 people have been forced from their homes in France. In eastern Spain, wildfires have forced more than 75,000 people to flee. Another 30,000 people have been told to shelter in place. Officials, however, are now allowing some people to go home in areas west of Madrid. The latest concern is a fire that broke out near Valencia, killing one person over the weekend. The man believed to have carried out a deadly attack in Berlin this weekend has been shot and killed by police. Police say the 21-year-old had a record of extremist activity. He was tracked down in a Berlin suburb almost a full day after the attack downtown. Police say the German citizen drove a van into a crowd near a Pride festival and then lashed out with a machete. A woman was killed and at least 29 others were injured. Mourners gathered at a memorial near the scene Sunday carrying pride flags and laying flowers. The nation's blood supply is dwindling. That's according to the Canadian Blood Services, who say there are far fewer donations happening. The organization says its inventory has fallen about 20% over the past 6 weeks. All this as they see far fewer donation appointments than expected each week. Canadian Blood Services say patient care has not been affected by the decreasing supply of blood, but they're looking to rebuild their supplies before hospitals become affected. Every blood type is needed, but that the O-negative type is especially valuable since it can be given to almost anyone. He saved the day for the Winnipeg Jets a time or two and backstopped Team USA to Olympic gold, and Thursday Connor Hellebuck helped his team win another game, but this one was a little different.
Teenagers don't ask for each other's phone numbers nowadays. Instead, they ask for their what?
Twitter.
The netminder appeared on Celebrity Family Feud alongside USA teammate Dylan Larkin and Paralympic gold medalists Griffin Lamar, Jack Wallace, and Declan Farmer. After besting the American women's hockey team in a sudden death round, Hellebuck and Lamar brought home the win in fast money. The $25,000 they won will benefit the USA Hockey Foundation. Taking a look at the current traffic situation on the Norwood Bridge, not much aside from a couple buses there. If you have any traffic tips to send them or text them to us at 10400. And we joined Tandy Vera this morning with a brand new haircut. Looking great, Tandy. And you're at Drop-In Dance learning about Heathers the Musical, a cult classic film coming to the stage here in Winnipeg.
Good morning. Yes, it's coming to the stage here in Winnipeg, and my hairstyle is inspired by Heathers. I grew up watching Heathers, so I absolutely love the musical. And someone who's watched it, or anyone's watched it, you understand why it has such a big following, from the catchy songs, the dark comedy, and the unforgettable characters. And yes, it's coming to a Winnipeg stage August 19th for 2 shows. So this morning, I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes for Heathers the Musical with Recycled Talent Production. So we're going to get a behind the scenes of how this production's coming to life, from the creative team to the stage managers, as well as the iconic actors bringing all the characters to life this morning. So super excited. You want to stay tuned. We're going to give you a little preview, a little sneak peek, and you do not want to miss it.
Thanks, Tandy. And going from Heathers to Weathers, Catherine Dow up on the... Sorry, that was terrible.
No, I liked it. That was good, Daddy. Don't tell yourself
Thank you. Just after 6 o'clock, how are things up there?
It's pleasant out here, Daddy. Winds are light. It's mild with our temperatures. In fact, it's 17 degrees. A couple clouds here or there. Winds are out of the north at 9 kilometers per hour. Pressure is rising. Humidity sitting at 99%. Excuse me, folks. Yes, we are in store for another sweltering day, but if you can believe it, it's going to be one of our coolest to come. So most of the south will deal with highs in the upper 20s. For us in Winnipeg, that's 29 degrees. Very light winds, kind of variable, not much of a factor. However, there is this low chance of rain and thunderstorm activity, a 30% chance by Environment and Climate Change Canada's estimation. And that's kind of plaguing, I would say, 75% of the province, the Northeast being the lone exception. So when there's this much heat and humidity and, of course, moisture in the air, there's always that chance of a stray thunderstorm breaking out here or there. But the chance of it is not terribly strong. Meanwhile, I mentioned our heat. It looks like temperatures only getting hotter from here. We're breaking the 30-degree mark into tomorrow and staying around that mark for much of the week to come. So get those ACs ready to work, because, yeah, they're going to be putting in overtime this week. All right, I'm going to head inside, but stay with us. So much more Your Morning Winnipeg still to come. Don't go anywhere.
Weather is brought to you by the Better Business Bureau. Research at bbb.org before you buy.
A Winnipeg man with a history of mental illness and violence has been sentenced to 5 years for a random street attack against an elderly woman in February last year. The attack left Victoria Como, who was 83 at the time, with pelvic fractures and what her family described as a complete loss of independence. Court heard she was walking alone with a walker when she was punched and pushed to the ground. The assailant continued to attack her until a passerby intervened. 28-year-old Justin Getty previously pleaded guilty to aggravated assault. Despite living with schizophrenia and having a lengthy history of substance abuse, doctors concluded he could appreciate what he was doing. Court heard Getty previously expressed remorse and promised not to assault anyone again. However, the judge rejected it based on previous statements he's made, including that he didn't care what happened to Como and that he was venting anger for having previously been assaulted himself. After months of controversy and several delays and setbacks, the Gordie Howe International Bridge is set to officially open to traffic today.
This is a fabulous piece of architecture. It's a towering symbol of our friendship, and no amount of political rhetoric in Washington is going to change that.
The issue started back in February when President Donald Trump insisted the U.S. would have to be compensated before he would allow the bridge to open. Canada then agreed to make some adjustments to the previously agreed upon revenue sharing structure. Jump ahead to July, Canada held an opening ceremony on Friday and disinvited American officials because of all the tariff tension. Canada paid to build the $6.4 billion structure connecting Windsor with Detroit, and now officials on both sides of the border are waiting and watching to see the first set of cars actually drive through. Artificial intelligence is getting more useful every day. It's now able to spot fake art. It's already helped a team of experts root out copies of Canadian Master that had flooded the market. CTV's Kamal Karamali with how it works.
Treasure trove of stunningly visual paintings, beautiful enough to be up on display, but instead tucked away in the basement of this small town Ontario home.
What's the overall value of
all of this? Was once worth a lot of money.
Between $600,000 and $700,000.
Until they were all discovered to be fake.
That's one of the red flags.
Circulating around Canada's art scene, posing as authentic pieces painted by Norval Morrisseau. The artist known as the Picasso of the North died 2 decades ago, but since then thousands of forgeries have flooded the market, selling for millions. That is until Jonathan Zimanovich and his team stepped in.
Anytime we can take a fake painting off the market to help stabilize the market.
Removing more than 50 this year alone.
It's been pretty easy to tell with these specific types of paintings.
And there's certain telltale signs that these paintings are fake, like these lines being way too thick.
Morrisseau's black lines were not this thick. They were much more controlled.
While other signs are more obvious.
People we know who painted with him said he never did that.
But their work is just beginning.
We estimate that there are still somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 more fakes.
And that's where AI and new technology comes in. It's already able to spot fake paintings, finding tiny details not consistent with an artist's style.
There are certain colors, brush strokes, supports that characterize a painting.
But that same technology is also giving copycat painters the power and knowledge of any artist's style, so they can make exact replicas by hand.
It's not a question of will this happen. I absolutely am sure that it will happen if it's not already happening now.
For now, this Ontario-based art authentication firm choosing to do things the old-fashioned way.
The sales values of these paintings on the open market have gone down over 70%.
A relief to you?
That's a great relief to us.
With a lot more paintings to examine in excruciating detail. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Pelham, Ontario.
A Winnipeg soccer complex is getting a makeover. The province is providing $750,000 to support upgrades to the Ralph Cantafio soccer complex. This includes replacing the outdoor field pitch and lighting system in order to modernize facilities and enable it to continue hosting high-level competitions.
This is the home of amateur soccer in the province, and obviously we're going to make it hopefully the home of professional soccer as well. So at the end of the day, all of that partnerships, all of those partnerships will help to improve the facilities, will improve the experience for the people that come to play here, including the fans who are coming to see the game.
The upgrades will also enable the complex to continue being able to offer community programming there.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Some road closures to remind you about this morning. On Plessis, the northbound median lane will be closed from Dugald Road to Kernahan Avenue. Following the rush, the westbound curb lane on Notre Dame will be closed between Tentler and King Edward Street, and the curb lane on the intersection between Main and Portage will be closed from Lombard to Notre Dame Avenue. If you have any traffic tips to pass along, text them to us at 10400.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
Bit of a hazy start to the day out there, 17 degrees, but other than the haze, good amount of sunshine, not a ton of clouds. Winds are light out of the north, pressure on the rise, humidity at 99%. Lots of sunshine on the way for us, and that heat really only continuing here throughout the province, not just here in the south. You can see these little smatterings here of isolated thunderstorms. Likely, though, we all have a chance of it, I should say, but likely we're going to be staying dry. Definitely, though, it's going to be very hot. Heat warnings continuing throughout this slice of southern Manitoba, Winnipeg included. That's because with the humidex, it could feel anywhere from 35 to 40 degrees. So very hot and likely only getting hotter into the rest of the week. In terms of today, we are starting off very warm, 21 degrees already by 8 a.m., 27 into the afternoon, early evening at 28. And that's when we get that low risk of rain and thunderstorm activity. We're getting a little bit hotter than that, 29 degrees. And then overnight, not losing a ton of heat either, 18 degrees. With it, that 30% chance of rain persisting. And then into tomorrow, I mentioned it only getting hotter. Look at that, 32 degrees, that low chance of showers continuing. And then into Wednesday, clearer skies, a high of 32. By Thursday, we're clouding over. Temperatures take a tiny little dip, 29 degrees. And then the long weekend's looking sunny and hot, as is the theme. Your Skywatch picture of the day, the sun setting there over in Deerwood over that wheat. Thanks so much for sending that in, Jeanette. And if you have any to share, we would love to see them. Email them to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
At age 110, Marie Rosa is Canada's oldest living person. We learned her secret in a special report from Omar Sashadina.
There's a quiet acceptance at this retirement home that those who move in here might not end up staying very long.
She's my little lady.
Marie Rosa knows that better than anyone. That's why the woman who believes every moment matters has mustered all her energy to take part in the celebration of a lifetime.
It's so good to meet you.
You're 71, your mom is 110. Do you realize how special this is?
Oh, I do, because I have so many friends who we've gone through the passings of all their parents.
Marie was born on September 17, 1915, during the First World War, serving as a seamstress and forewoman during the Second World War.
She's tough.
Oh, very tough.
She lived through the Great Depression, which taught her a valuable lesson.
Not wasting a thing, like you scrape the butter off the paper, you don't just unwrap it and throw it away.
What kept her going over the years was the freedom she got from hitting the road.
We would drop my dad off at work at the post office. He was an inside worker, and then we'd take the car for the day and visit an aunt or a sister or something. You enjoyed driving when you could, right? Yeah?
Car driving.
Yeah, driving, yes. Yes, car driving, yes.
Yeah.
Fashion, another source of joy.
She wouldn't buy many clothes.
That's
What would
right.
she buy? Yeah, she loved to dress up.
Yeah, you look so beautiful, Ma.
Wanting to look great hasn't changed over time.
Right.
Which brings us back to the party, the celebration, to honor her as Canada's oldest living person. A moment even marked by the passing of a crown, created by the family of the man who last carried that title. Bert Sisler died in April. His son says his father shared Marie's commitment to making things count.
They're the ones that straighten nails and use them again. You didn't waste anything.
When someone you love has lived this long, watching them slowly slip away is harder.
I'm losing her, a bit at a time, and that hurts.
Have you told her everything you want to say?
I think so. I think I have done that. Oh, maybe.
She's nodding her head.
Yeah.
But even as the body weakens, the power of how they've changed lives gets stronger.
Being able to learn and just understand the value of family and love and cherish that, I think, is incredible.
Values that now bind 4 generations.
She always tells people if she's talking that day that you got to love everybody.
The kind of love that will clearly endure.
Right? You love everybody, and they love you, yes?
Omar Sechedina, CTV News, Toronto.
Taking a look outside on the St. James Bridge, moving nice there. We'll be right back with more CTV, Your Morning Winnipeg.
Shaping up to be a hot one out there. 17 degrees with sunny but hazy skies. Winds pretty light out of the north. Pressure on the rise. Humidity sitting at 99%. So yes, we're still in the midst of this very hot portion of temperatures still coming our way as we have a heat dome kind of locking in that humidity. You can also see with it some isolated thunderstorms here or there popping up on the radar. Likely if you get any of that convective activity, it will be pretty disorganized, but there's always this chance when it's this hot and there's this much moisture in the air. Speaking of hot, heat warnings still in effect through this area in yellow here. Winnipeg included. That's because our humidex could feel anywhere from 35 to 40 centimeters Celsius. There we go. It's going to be quite hot out there to not just today, but through the days to come. In fact, it's getting even hotter. But today's no slouch either. 29 degrees, 26 is what's seasonal. We've been surpassing that for the last number of days. Winds staying pretty light out of the north. And then again, that slight chance of rain and thunderstorms, not only for us, but basically for 75% of the province. The only outlier there is the northeast. Meanwhile, overnight, temperatures dipping down to 18 degrees. Those winds shifting out of the southwest, that chance of rain and thunderstorms persisting. I mentioned it getting hotter to the tune of 32 degrees tomorrow. Again, thunderstorms are possible with that kind of heat. And then those winds getting a little stronger out of the south at 20 kilometers per hour. From there, Wednesday's looking to be a hotter day, also a bit sunnier, 32, but it is short-lived, clouding over in time for Thursday with 29 degrees. The weekend looking a little bit more moderate. That's probably good news for those heading out to cottage country, and maybe you don't have AC out there. 27 on Friday, that low chance of showers rears its head again. And then Saturday and Sunday still pretty hot, lots of sunshine, highs in the upper 20s.
Cleanup continues at Dauphin Regional Health Center after flooding forced its closure.
Yes, pretty much everything must be destroyed. There are some of newer aspects of the mechanical system that, the engineers are assessing to see if any of it can be cleaned, reused, but for the most part, most of it will need to be thrown out.
Prairie Mountain Health CEO says that's because clinical-grade infection control must be followed. Laundry, food services, and a pharmacy were just some of the services impacted by flooding. The basement also houses computer servers, which serve not only Dauphin, but other parts of the region as well. The health authority says it's still too early to know how much this will all cost. And although the damage is extensive, there are no structural concerns. However, there's still no timeline for when Dauphin Health Center will welcome patients back. The health authority says it's working on setting up a patient service center in Dauphin. It'll be for patients considered low acuity who need services such as their blood drawn, x-rays, and EKGs. Meantime, a virtual town hall will give area residents a chance to learn more about this and ask questions. That's happening July 30th at 6:30 p.m. You can register for the town hall through Shared Health's website. A Winnipeg library branch will be closed for several weeks after a water pipe burst. The Munro Library on London Street is temporarily closed to allow the city to repair the damage. Water damage was limited to the washroom and immediate surrounding area. Crews will remove affected building material and dry out the area before replacing the insulation and drywall, repainting and cleaning the carpet. It's anticipated the branch will reopen in mid to late August. Anyone with library materials on hold at Munro can pick up the items at Henderson Library. The after-hours return at Munro will remain open. Toronto police are investigating after two Jewish-owned bakeries were targeted in separate incidents over the weekend.
It feels very personal to me. I could have been in there, or anybody in this neighborhood. It could have been daytime as opposed to nighttime.
This is where we come for our food, and we feel threatened and unsafe.
The incidents happened at two Jewish bagel shops with the same name. Police say one was damaged by gunfire and the other had the front door window smashed. Toronto police say investigators are treating the incidents as suspected hate-motivated attacks. Community members say they're shaken and fed up with the violence. Members of the Toronto Police Hate Crime Unit, the Guns and Gangs Integrated Task Force, and local divisional officers have been canvassing the area for evidence. A candy bar is being recalled across the country because of an undeclared ingredient that could pose a serious health risk to some consumers. Cadbury is taking its Dairy Milk Oreo candy bar off the shelves since it contains pistachios, which were not included on the product's label. That's according to a notice published by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency on Friday. The notice said there had been reactions to the bar in question, and anyone with one should return it for a refund or throw it out. As you set the coffee maker for your Monday morning drip, maybe make a little extra. The American Heart Association says a few coffees a day may actually do you good, but of course, it's not the same for everyone. CTV's Michael Serapio reports.
Be it steamed, dripped, or just plain black, Canadians love their coffee.
For Brian?
Industry analysts estimate more than 70% of Canadians drink the caffeinated brew at least once a day, others more. But how much should Canadians be drinking before coffee becomes a health risk?
I'm not sure, probably 1 or 2.
I'd say maybe 2, because more than 2 it just sort of gives jitters.
Like 3 or 4. I would say that's what I drink every day.
Well, for coffee lovers, some good news from the American Heart Association, which said this past week when it comes to cardiovascular health, up to 5 cups of coffee a day is safe for most adults.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And it's not just safe, it could also be beneficial.
It appears that the risks of things like heart attack, stroke, and diabetes in particular may, if anything, be actually lower among those that consume caffeinated coffee.
That said, what is safe is very individual, based on metabolism, general health, and other factors. And this guideline is only for coffee.
Those data should not be extrapolated to energy drinks.
Health Canada's guidelines are different, saying for adults the maximum daily intake should be no more than 400 milligrams or 4 cups. For women who are pregnant, trying to get pregnant, or breastfeeding, 300 milligrams or 3 cups.
Now, the American guideline does not suggest to drink coffee if you don't already, but if you do, you have reason now to justify a 5th cup. Michael Serapio, CTV News, Ottawa.
Taking a look at the current traffic situation around Confusion Corner, moving well there. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us. And taking a look at your gas prices this morning in Winnipeg, the average is $1.71, a slight drop from yesterday, and the lowest price in the city is $1.57. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Tandy Vera is learning all about a musical adaptation of a 80s cult classic film. We'll have details after the break.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
A rather pleasant start to your Monday and to your week. Lots of sunshine out here. Still decently mild at 17 degrees. Currently, winds are light out of the north, pressure rising, humidity sitting at 99%. So yes, lots of heat on the way for us. Those heat warnings are persisting throughout much of southern Manitoba, the Red River Valley, Winnipeg included, so the southwest, the Parkland. Yes, needless to say, it's going to be a hot one. Temperatures peaking in the upper 20s. For us in Winnipeg, that's 29 degrees. Winds will stay pretty light. Plus, we have an outside chance of some rain or thunderstorm activity. That's the same in the northwest, a chance for that as well, but likely a mix of sun and cloud for you. Temperatures similar in the mid to upper 20s. Meanwhile, the northeast likely slightly clearer and slightly cooler depending on where you're at, with the exception of Thompson, which Environment and Climate Change Canada gives a 60% chance of rain or thunderstorms. For us here in the south, we'll see temperatures dip overnight to the upper teens, winds staying light, and then into tomorrow, even getting hotter, 32 degrees, and that low chance of rain and thunderstorms persisting as well as that mercury continues to rise. All right, we're going to check in with our own Tandy Vera, who's learning all about Heathers the musical.
Hi, good morning Manitoba, and good morning Kat. Yes, Heathers the musical, an iconic, musical, being put on here in Winnipeg by Recycled Talent Productions, and I'm joined by the founder, Dan, this morning. Thank you for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
Now, chat to us about what Recycled Talent Productions is for audiences that might not know.
So I'm a grade 7 teacher at École Seven Oaks Middle School, and I work primarily with grade 6, 7, and 8 students. And I always thought it was kind of sad that once the students leave grade 8, I'll never get to work with them again. So I had this reoccurring thought that maybe I should form a company to work with them. Over the span of about 5 years, I had 5 former students pass away, and I realized that life is way too short, so I decided to follow my dream and form Recycled Talent to work with former students.
That's amazing, and that's so inspirational and beautiful. Now, you're putting on Heathers the Musical. What was the decision having that musical?
You know what? It has really great songs. It has a great story. It's set in 1989, but the themes are still really relevant today. The themes of suicide and social status, peer pressure, mental health. Unfortunately, these are themes that we saw in 1989, and it's still themes that we're seeing in today's school system, in today's society. I was in grade 11 in 1989, so I thought it would also be kind of cool to revisit that time period. And let me tell you, there has been a lot of teaching that's been happening with the cast, as they're all way, way younger than me.
That's so true, and so everyone can relate to that high school feeling from when they were young. I agree with that. What can audiences expect for the upcoming production?
They can expect great singing, great acting, high energy, a state-of-the-art theater where they'll be performing. I like to, when I'm working with the kids, audience members often leave the shows and they say, I hear them say, I can't believe those are just kids. So I'm expecting people to leave this show and say, I can't believe this is community theater, like the level is really, really elevated.
That's going to be so much fun, and people have to come watch and come join. And just quickly, when is it happening?
August 19th and 20th at SOPAC, which is Seven Oaks Performing Arts Center.
That's perfect. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Dan. You don't want to miss that iconic musical here in Winnipeg.
A look at the early markets. The Dow Jones climbed 571 points. The Nasdaq is 463 points higher. The S&P index is 75 points up. The loonie decreased slightly, set to 70.88 cents U.S. Overseas, the Hang Seng added 243 points and the Nikkei 320 points. Election season is now underway throughout Manitoba as 3 municipalities elected new mayors and councils on Friday. The village of Dunatar has a new mayor as Kathy Magnuson was elected with over 58% of the vote. Winnipeg Beach also has a new face leading the way as Terry Califf came out victorious, securing 863 votes, good enough for 57% of the total votes to claim the mayor's chair. Lastly, in Victoria Beach, no one ran against current mayor Penny McMorris, who was elected by acclamation. But Elizabeth Murray, Rob Monkman, Graham Randall and Ian Chadsey were the 4 candidates elected to council. We're learning more about the number of fire calls where it's believed homelessness could be a factor. Data from the city of Winnipeg shows crews have responded to 286 fires related to homelessness this year. There were 580 last year and 734 in 2024. A city spokesperson says this includes encampment fires, some vacant building fires, and outdoor fires. While Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service doesn't specifically track fires near rivers, 13% were within 25 meters of a riverbank. The city and province have implemented plans to address homeless encampments, legislating where they can legally be set up and working to find homes for unsheltered residents. A local developer is appealing a variance for a large housing project adjacent to the Granite Curling Club. John Winthrop, who lives across the river, is appealing the variances previously approved for the 12-story mixed-use building. The city permitted the building to reach 126 feet instead of the normally allowable 100 feet and made some allowances for parking stall size and landscaping. Winthrop is appealing on the grounds that the project does not comply with the zoning bylaw and says the project as approved doesn't fit with the neighborhood. An appeal hearing is set for next Thursday. The project has been at the center of a dispute between the city and the nearby curling club, which is worried about the loss of its parking spaces. At least 3 people were killed in a mass shooting near Seattle's Space Needle. The shooting happened at the Bite of Seattle Food Festival. This video posted on social media shows people fleeing the scene. 4 people were hurt in addition to the 3 people killed. Police have 1 suspect in custody.
Recovered 2 guns. It's one thing to note, one of the 4 victims that was taken to the hospital was a toddler.
Fire officials say the 2-year-old boy who was shot is now in stable condition. Police believe there were 2 people shooting at each other. The second suspect remains on the loose. With the Trump administration preparing a new package of tariffs against Canada and other trading partners, some political watchers say Ottawa should be careful not to overreact.
Sometimes these threats remain just social media postings. Sometimes they get reflected at the trade table. We need to actually better assess what this is. In any event, there is probably only one answer, and that is to plug our way through talks with the United States on CUSMA renewal, see where those go. If there's a deal that's reasonable, then we take it. If there's not, then we don't. And even if we have a deal with Donald Trump, we will be left to wonder, is that deal worth anything? Because we know that he'll go back on his word at the drop of a dime.
The Prime Minister says all options are on the table in response to new U.S. tariffs. But Alberta's Premier says she's not planning on following the lead of other provinces by keeping American liquor off store shelves. Danielle Smith says instead of retaliating, she'll leave it up to retailers and consumers to decide what they want to buy. Several provinces stopped buying American liquor last year, but Alberta and Saskatchewan reversed course after a few months. Some road closures to remind you about this morning on Plessis. The northbound median lane will be closed from Dugald Road to Kernahan Avenue. Following the rush, the westbound curb lane on Notre Dame Avenue will be closed between Tentler and King Edward Street, and the curb lane on the intersection between Main and Portage will be closed from Lombard to Notre Dame Avenue. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us.
Taking a check-in outside, bit hazy to kick off your Monday, 17 degrees with some light northerly winds, pressure rising this hour, humidity at 99%. So yeah, sunshine abounds, as does that heat. No surprise to folks out there. We still have those heat warnings in effect for this little swath here of southern Manitoba, Winnipeg included. That's because humidex values expected to exceed 35 to even 40 degrees, with temperatures getting even hotter into tomorrow. The area that's kind of dealing with likely the most clear forecast, if you will, and by that I mean a good amount of sunshine over in Churchill. While Thompson has a good chance of rainfall and thunderstorm activity, about 60%, the rest of you basically just overcast, slight chance of rain in Island Lake. Temperatures there a little bit milder, 24 degrees in Thompson, 25 in Island Lake, 22 in Gillam. The northwest, mix of sun and cloud, but there is that slight chance of rain and thunderstorms for you, only about a 30% shot. Temperatures there sweltering, not what we want to see during wildfire season. Highs in the upper 20s, a little bit cooler in Lynn Lake at 24. Southwestern Manitoba, also that low chance of rain and thunderstorms. More likely, though, a mix of sun and cloud. Haze to kick you off and some light winds. Temperatures also peaking in the upper 20s. Very hot in Brandon and Neepawa at 29 degrees. That's what we've got going on here in Winnipeg. The same high, a little bit clear in Gimli, while the rest of us, yes, that low chance of rain and thunderstorms, plus those light winds. Northwestern Ontario, I sound like a broken record. Instability possible for you. Temperatures peaking around 27 degrees, clearer in Red Lake. And oops, that shouldn't be there, but you can see there on our radar some isolated thunderstorms popping up here or there. Here's where we wanted to go. Overnight, temperatures dipping down to 18 degrees, but then from there, we're just getting hotter. 32 tomorrow with that low chance of showers and thunderstorms persisting.
Let's say a big good morning to Bo and Gabby at Bounce 99.9. How are you guys today?
Dan, let me tell you, we're good. But after the Bomber game, Sea Bears game, and Gold Eyes game, I've had enough Christmas songs to last me for 5 months, okay? Let's stop it with Christmas in July. Give me July weather at Christmas. That I would like.
Yeah, Bo's over the Christmas. But we also are giving away something really cool this morning. Danny, we're giving away tickets to Amanda Marshall. She's coming to the Burt in November. And her first album was in 1995, right?
Yeah, so we were looking back to the year 1995. Mm-hmm. And what were you doing back then? Were you born? I'm asking.
Let's pretend I wasn't, but no, I was. I was 5 years old in 1995. I think I was eating a lot of paste. That's kind of my memory from those years. It's like I went to preschool and they were always giving you crafts with shaving cream, and I'd be like, that looks like whipping cream. And I just keep sampling it. even though I knew. And then I, the next day, like, maybe it's whipping cream this time. But I had a lot of good times. I vividly remember a field trip to McDonald's, of course. How about you? What were you doing in 1995?
I was 10 years old, so baseball was life when I was 10 years old. I was probably getting in a little bit of trouble. And 1995 would have been the summer where my friends and I were hooked on the O.J. Simpson trial. Maybe that set me up as life as a journalist, but we were watching, the highlights from it every day. Very strange childhood. What about you, Bo? You were what, 24 then?
Oh, sure, I'll take that. You know what? I've still got clothes from 1995, okay? I love the 90s. It was a great year. Seinfeld, I was watching that every day. Of course, I'm still watching it now in reruns, so some things haven't changed. But actually, I was in this very building working with a couple of great folks, Tom Milroy and a lady named Fraser, and we got some crazy fun times here at the radio station back in 95. But looking forward to Amanda Marshall and giving away those tickets after 8 today. Have a great one, Dan.
Awesome. You too, guys. Take care. A BC couple discovered a wild animal stuck hanging upside down on their fence. CTV's Adam Sawatsky has more on what happened after and the race to save a majestic visitor.
First noticed something stuck on her fence, Kaylin Lindsay thought a neighbor's chicken had escaped. Until she looked closer.
I couldn't believe what I was seeing at first. I was pretty shocked.
After Kaylin raced inside to wake up her fiancé, Maxwell Hone thought he was still dreaming.
My hair was like kind of all in a rat's nest. I was still in my pajamas, and I came outside and I was like, whoa, oh my God.
It was a great horned owl, likely stuck upside down after flying fast to catch a squirrel.
Somehow, like a freak accident of both of her legs getting caught in between the fence posts, and then she just kind of hung there and was stuck.
Maxwell rushed to rescue the owl, and after freeing her from the fence, placed the bird safely on the ground.
I felt heartbreak for her. It's not every day that an owl gets stuck in a fence.
While they waited for the wildlife hospital to open, the owl didn't move, except for what looked like shivers, so Maxwell gently cradled the bird in a towel.
Try to give it some body heat, because if it had been there for several hours, the poor thing was probably pretty cold.
Maxwell and Kaylin wondered if this was the same bird they'd seen around their neighborhood, who they'd named Floki, after the Marvel character who also had horns on his head, who they'd only observed as a predator before.
Its instinct is to hunt squirrels and rabbits and things like that, but it's also, quite cute. A really heartfelt moment of getting to get so close to her.
It was not unlike other experiences the couple had had with wild animals. Maxwell's an Emmy Award-winning nature filmmaker, and Kaylin captures the behind-the-scenes footage.
But we never really have the chance to step in and rescue them, so it was a really great experience.
Especially after they placed Floki in a box to keep her feeling safe during the drive to the animal hospital, where staff told them that after the bird was rehabilitated, she'd be released back into the forest behind their home.
We share this land with feathered and the furry critters around us, so just look out for them when they're in need is really important.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
Traffic moving well out on the Provencher Bridge. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more CTV, Your Morning Winnipeg. It's Monday, July 27th. Today, forced from home. Why a Manitoba senior has been living out of his car. Plus, cutting out fees, what Scott Gillingham is promising as part of his election campaign. And putting the pieces together, what went on at a speed puzzle competition here in Winnipeg. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. I'm Daniel Homerson, joined by Catherine Dow on weather. Thank you so much for spending your Monday morning with us. How was your weekend?
It was great. It's hot, Danny. Daniel, sorry. Your on-air name, your Christian name is Daniel. When it's this hot, I retreat. I don't know about you. I kind of melt in the sunshine.
Great way to get out of the heat in the summer is a theater, air conditioning, and that's where Tandy Vera is this morning. She's learning about Heathers the musical. It's coming to a Winnipeg stage later this summer. But speaking of the heat, It's going to be another hot one out there today, isn't it?
It certainly is, yeah. And it's only getting hotter, Danny. So, Daniel, my goodness, sorry. Clearly the coffee hasn't kicked in. But yes, you're going to want to find, if you're going to see theater, make sure you find an air-conditioned venue. A movie theater is a great place, too, to take refuge. Because, yeah, it's going to be quite hot today and only getting hotter from here. 17 degrees with those hazy skies. Winds are light out of the north this hour. Pressure is rising. Humidity sitting at 99%. So, yes, heat warnings are the name of the game today. They've been in effect since, I believe, Saturday, and you can see they're very much still blanketing southern Manitoba, Winnipeg included, and will likely be there for the next few days to come. That's because those humidex will feel closer to 35 to 40 Celsius, so it's going to be quite sweltering, even hotter than what our mercury is reflecting back at us. Meanwhile, there's also a low chance of rain or thunderstorm activity basically throughout, I'd say 75% of the province. That is the factor when it's so hot and so humid and moist out there. 24 in Thompson, 25 in Island Lake, 22 in Gillam, 21 in Churchill. Over to the northwest, that chance of rain and thunderstorms persists. Temperatures there very hot in the upper 20s, a little bit cooler in Lynn Lake at 24. To the southwest we go, where that chance of rain and instability also there as well. Temperatures peaking in the upper 20s. For us here as well, much similar values on tap, including some light winds throughout the day, not much of a factor either, and that haze throughout the morning. Into northwestern Ontario, clear in Red Lake-ish, mix of sun and cloud, but that chance of rain and thunderstorms at about 40% for this stretch, with highs in the 27-degree mark. For us here in Winnipeg, we are dipping down to about 18 degrees. That low chance of rain and thunderstorms persists, and it does into tomorrow, and that's when we're getting even hotter. 32 degrees. I'm not a fan of that, nor am I. Into Wednesday, same high. Temperatures take a slight dip into the back half of the week. Your weather art of the day, 11-year-old Cody drew this one. A lovely picture there of that rainbow and those geese. Thanks so much for sending that in, Cody. I love it. And if you want to submit your child's weather art of the day, just simply visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form, because your art can be shown in Your Morning Winnipeg, but it is also going to enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle on Keniston and Regent.
The Weather Art of the Day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery, now open on Regent and Keniston.
A senior living in Manitoba Housing says he's been sleeping in his car because of the condition of his apartment. Walter Drummond lives in a 55-plus building in St. Agathe, and he says flooding damaged his carpet, and the odor left behind forced him onto the street. CTV's Jeff Keel has more.
It's not home sweet home when Walter Drummond puts his head on his pillow.
I'm broke. I'm a pensioner, so I couldn't afford a hotel myself, so I just stayed in my car.
Drummond's usual home is this 55-plus building in St. Agathe, run by Manitoba Housing. He says since last fall, there have been flooding issues, including a sewer backup. Drummond says fans and dehumidifiers were brought in, but still, the carpet is wet and stained. He says this created an odor that impacted his health, so he went to see his doctor.
My doctor on Monday advised me not to go back into the suite.
He felt he had no choice but to sleep in his car, which he has done every night this week. The first time he parked here overnight at the Fort Richmond Plaza on Pembina Highway, but he didn't feel safe.
I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I was freaking out.
Since then, his girlfriend has let him park the car in her driveway, where he says he has more peace of mind. Still, Drummond believes Manitoba Housing could be doing more to fix his apartment and find him somewhere to stay.
I was thinking, what has housing done to me? Like, I've been screaming at them to have a contractor come out.
It appears action is being taken. In a statement, a provincial spokesperson says Manitoba Housing's tenant service coordinator has connected with Mr. Drummond and helped with alternative arrangements as we work on the unit, which is on track to be completed on Monday. Every Manitoban should have a safe and secure place to call home, and our government will continue to work until everyone has access to the dignified housing they deserve. Drummond hopes this is the last time he has a car roof over his head when he closes his eyes.
Maybe I'll have a good evening tonight at a hotel where I could be more safer.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The provincial spokesperson also says when a situation like this arises, tenants are encouraged to reach out so they can connect them with supports. As for why Drummond is sleeping in his girlfriend's driveway, well, he says they've been dating for less than 2 weeks and aren't in the phase of the relationship where he could stay overnight yet. Scott Gillingham has made his first pledge of the municipal election campaign on Friday morning. Gillingham is promising to eliminate the $65 fee for volunteers who need criminal record checks. The incumbent mayor says this would take the form of a voucher program where eligible volunteer groups can offer free criminal record checks for Winnipeg residents who want to volunteer. He also said the city would replace the lost revenue to the police service. Election day is October 28th. Prime Minister Mark Carney has called 3 by-elections next month. They're for the ridings of Beaches, East York, and Toronto, which was held by former Liberal Nate Erskine-Smith. Voters will also vote to replace another former Liberal, Jonathan Wilkinson, in the BC riding of North Vancouver-Capilano. The 3rd by-election is in the Quebec riding of Chicoutimi-Lafleur. Former Conservative MP Richard Martel resigned to take a Senate seat. The by-elections are set for August 31st. The suspect in a deadly Berlin Pride attack has been killed in a confrontation with police. Abdul Balaut was killed Sunday night following a search that lasted nearly 24 hours. He was a German citizen with a Lebanese background. German authorities say the suspect killed 1 person, left 29 others injured. The first attack happened on Saturday when a white van drove into a crowd of people. After that, police say several people were hurt in a stabbing attack. Police are investigating, but say this appears to be an Islamist extremism attack. Berlin's Pride Festival is one of Europe's largest LGBTQ+ celebrations. Thousands of people attended a vigil yesterday. Speed puzzlers took over Winnipeg this weekend for the first ever Manitoba Regional Speed Puzzle Competition. Around 100 participants from Manitoba and across the country gathered to see how fast they could build a 500-piece puzzle. The competition was divided into 3 categories: individual, pairs, and teams. Rebecca Waddell, the founder of Manitoba Speed Puzzlers, says speed puzzling has an added extra layer of enjoyment to a hobby that she's done for so many years.
I just love that it's taking something that I love and adding that challenge of, can I do it faster? Can I beat my time before? Like, you're not trying to necessarily beat the other people in the room, you're trying to beat yourself to do better, to be faster, to hone your strategies, and I really like that part of it.
The top individual puzzler at the competition was able to complete their puzzle in 41 minutes. For those interested in trying the activity, Waddell encourages them to check out the Manitoba Speed Puzzlers Facebook page. And a traditional musical instrument is making waves in Switzerland. Take a look at this. These people are using what's called an Alphorn. Musicians from Switzerland around the world gathered for the International Alphorn Festival in northern Switzerland. More than 100 people took part in competitions and performances highlighting Swiss folklore and traditions. Made me think of Ricola there. Taking a look at traffic out on Kenniston. A little foggy there, can't see too much, but moving along past those traffic tips to us at 10,400.
A sharp retreat in oil prices triggering a relief rally in stocks and bonds after a lull in hostilities in the Middle East, starting a week packed with earnings and a stack of interest rate decisions on a positive note. A stock worth following is memory chip maker CXMT. It surged as much as 535% in its Shanghai trading debut. Lundin says infrastructure assessments conducted after the storm in Chile showed damage to 2 power line towers serving the Caserones operations. This, according to a statement from the company. The Canadian miner expects a gradual restart over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Naver shares surged as much as 13% in Seoul after NVIDIA said it would acquire a 4.5% stake in the Korean internet company under a previously announced $1 billion strategic investment deal. NVIDIA becoming a Naver shareholder is strategic validation of Naver's AI factory ambitions, not a simple financial investment, Bernstein analyst Minju Kang writes in a note. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
We find Tandy Vera over at Drop-In Dance on Portage Avenue this morning, and she's learning about Heathers the Musical coming to Seven Oaks Performance Center in August. Good morning, Tandy.
Good morning, Danny. What's your damage? If you don't know that, that's a reference to Heathers the Musical. And yes, it's happening August 19th and 20th. So if you want to check it out, you can be transported to the hallways of Westerberg High, where there are big personalities, bigger drama, and unforgettable music, iconic music. And I gotta say, as a fan of Heathers the Musical, the music just gets you into the vibe. You want to sing along, it's catchy, and it's also big themes that are being explored in this musical. So right now we're going to get a behind the scenes chat coming up soon with some of the stage managers, as well as we're going to meet the three Heathers, Veronica and JD, so you do not want to miss what we have on for you.
Awesome. Looking forward to that, Tandy. And up on the roof is our Catherine Dow. A little bit of sunshine on you now. How's it shaping up out there?
It's lovely, but it is quite hazy out here, Daniel, and partly cloudy as we start to see the skies slip a little bit more. 19 degrees, winds also ramping up out of the northeast at 10 kilometers per hour, pressure rising, humidity at 95%. So while we have such hot temperatures on the way, that also triggers the chance of rain and thunderstorms. In fact, most of the province has that low chance kind of lingering in the background, so a stray thunderstorm or shower could pop up here or there. Nothing hefty, nothing substantial or long-standing. Temperatures very hot, peaking in the upper 20s. For us in Winnipeg, that's 29 degrees. A little bit cooler in the northeast, where they're in the low to mid 20 degree range, but for the rest of the province, also kind of sticking around that ballpark. Meanwhile, we're also going to be dealing with a chance of rain and thunderstorms overnight as well. It lingers, not only because it's going to be getting warm, but also because it's getting even warmer into tomorrow. In fact, there are heat warnings in effect that aren't likely to linger. That means temperatures tomorrow in the south are cracking the 30-degree mark. So again, that chance of rain and thunderstorms continues as those hot temperatures are likely to stick around for the rest of the week.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Well, it's time now for our question of the day. Today is Take Your Pants for a Walk Day, a day that encourages everyone to get outside and enjoy a simple stroll. So we want to know, what's your favorite place to go for a walk? For me, it's along Wellington Crescent. You can text your answers to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response, and don't forget to include your name.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic, science-backed body contouring.
At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions have been amazing, and we want to see even more. Whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals, send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on Your Morning Winnipeg. Traffic out there on Osborne, pretty light so far. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more CTV Your Morning Winnipeg. Cleanup continues at Dauphin Regional Health Centre after flooding forced its closure.
Yes, pretty much everything must be destroyed. There are some of newer aspects of the mechanical system that, the engineers are assessing to see if any of it can be cleaned, reused, but for the most part, most of it will need to be thrown out.
Prairie Mountain Health CEO says that's because clinical grade infection control must be followed. Laundry, food services, and a pharmacy were just some of the services impacted by flooding. The basement also houses computer servers, which serve not only Dauphin but other parts of the region as well. The health authority says it's still too early to know how much this will all cost. Although the damage is extensive, there are no structural concerns. However, there's still no timeline for when Dauphin Health Centre will welcome patients back. The health authority says it's working on setting up a patient service centre in Dauphin. It'll be for patients considered low acuity who need services such as their blood drawn, X-rays, and EKGs. Meantime, a virtual town hall will give area residents a chance to learn more about this and ask some questions. That's happening July 30th at 6:30 p.m. You can register for the town hall through Shared Health's website. A next-generation obesity drug could be on its way from Eli Eli Lilly. According to the company, the drug retatrutide appears to be more effective than existing shots and pills. Retatrutide works differently and is delivered via weekly injection. In trials, it resulted in significant weight loss and improvements in blood sugar levels. Eli Lilly had previously said it would seek approval from the FDA for the new drug this year. A Winnipeg soccer complex is getting a makeover. The province is providing $750,000 to support the Ralph Contafio soccer complex. This includes replacing the outdoor field pitch and lighting system in order to modernize facilities and enable it to continue hosting high-level competitions.
This is the home of amateur soccer in the province, and obviously we're going to make it hopefully the home of professional soccer as well. So at the end of the day, all of that partnerships, all of those partnerships will help to improve the facilities, will improve the experience for the people that come to play here, including the fans who are coming to see the game.
The upgrades will also enable the complex to continue being able to offer community programming there. Taking a look at the current traffic situation, starting to pick up there on McPhillip Street.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires, proudly keeping Canadians rolling for 50 years.
The Odyssey continued to dominate the box office in its second weekend in North American theaters.
We won the war. Help me go home.
Summer's biggest blockbuster took in $87 million US in ticket sales, according to studio estimates Sunday. That's only a 30% drop since its first weekend, a modest slide for the blockbuster. This is director Christopher Nolan's best second weekend ever, not accounting for inflation. In 2008, The Dark Knight earned $75.2 million in weekend two.
Halt! Who goes there? Whoa, whoa, whoa! I come in peace. It's been too long, cowboy.
On the other side of the box office, Disney and Pixar's Toy Story 5 has surpassed $1 billion US globally. That makes it the highest grossing movie release of 2026 to date. Variety is reporting that this year is on track to see the most billion-dollar blockbusters for any year since the pandemic. And a surprise announcement made Saturday, and a Canadian actor is set to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ryan Gosling is officially joining the MCU as Johnny Blaze, or better known as Ghost Rider. The movie will be directed by Sean Levy, with a release date planned for 2028. It's the third movie in a series about the motorcycle riding anti-hero following the 2007 and 2011 films starring Nicolas Cage. And your Monday primetime lineup kicks off with American Ninja Warrior at 7, and at 9 catch the game show The Quiz with Balls. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
The Quiz with Balls is really just an A+ title. I laugh every time. Alrighty, taking a check-in on our weather this hour. 19 degrees, hazy and sunny, although a couple clouds starting to join us slowly throughout the morning. Winds out of the northeast at 10 kilometers per hour. Pressures on the rise, humidity sitting at 95%. So we are continuing to dealing with these very hot temperatures, and as such, some instability being created. You can see a couple of pop-ups here or there of some very isolated, very scattered thunderstorm activity, most notably in central portions of our province. But the heat is really what's sparking that kind of instability out there in our environment, to the point that heat warnings remain in effect and are likely to be lingering for the next couple of days. It's in effect in southern Manitoba, but for the most part, it's going to be a very hot day no matter where you're at, and maybe a stormy one at that. In fact, it's already raining in Thompson, in and around where we see this system here. So likely rain and thunderstorms continuing in that city. But for the rest of us, a low chance of rain or thunderstorms, because you see this tracks out nicely. But for the rest of us, there could be a little upstart here or there. Very light chance of that, more likely so, a mix of sun and cloud for us. Wind staying pretty light, temperatures very hot in the upper 20s. And then overnight, we still follow this system, likely to bring rain and thunderstorm, particularly to the northern Manitoba area, particularly the northwest, while it could reach as far to the southwest and maybe into the parkland. For us here, though, that slight chance of rain and thunderstorms does continue because of our high temperatures. They're getting even hotter into the back half of the week. And then we keep an eye on this system here, likely to drift into northern Manitoba about midweek. I mentioned the heat. 29 degrees today, 26 is what's seasonal, and we're just getting even hotter into tomorrow. Sweltering at 32 degrees alongside that low chance of rain and thunderstorms. A lovely shot of this sunset peeking it down over the wheat. Thanks so much to Jeanette for snapping this one in Deerwood. And if you've got any weather pictures to share, wheat themed or otherwise, do email us at winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
July 27th, 1921. Insulin was discovered by Frederick Banting and Charles Best at the University of Toronto. The discovery and demonstration of insulin's beneficial effects on diabetes are considered one of the greatest medical achievements of the 20th century and earned Banting the Nobel Prize in 1923. July 27, 1953. The three-year Korean War ended with the signing of an armistice at Panmunjom. During the conflict, United Nations and South Korean forces had 500,000 troops killed, wounded, or missing in action. The dead included 516 Canadians. Despite the armistice, Korea remains sharply divided along the heavily fortified 38th parallel. July 27, 2002. Bob Hope, master of the one-liner and favorite comedian of servicemen and presidents alike, died of pneumonia at his home in Toluca Lake, California, at the age of 100. Over the course of his storied career, Hope performed on stage in Winnipeg a total of 6 times, the first in 1930 and the last in 1979.
When the premiers met in PEI last week, the topic of tariffs held the spotlight, but they also signed off on something else, aligning on how to make new builds in their provinces accessible. CTV's Maria Saru reports.
12 premiers committing to one goal, to bring Canada's patchwork of accessibility rules closer together. Rick Hansen, a former Paralympian and longtime accessibility advocate, said in social media videos the new Memorandum of Understanding could mark a turning point.
There will never be a new build ever again that isn't built meaningfully accessible so they work for people.
4 decades after wheeling around the world on his Man in Motion tour, the deal was signed in the spirit of his push for a barrier-free country. All of Canada's provinces and territories except Quebec say they will work toward common accessibility rules for new construction, but no implementation timeline has been announced.
People will look back in this moment and say, well, what was the big deal? This is just normal.
David Lepofsky, a blind lawyer and longtime disability rights advocate, says consistency only helps if the standard is strong.
There's a serious risk they're just going to dilute them to the lowest common denominator.
The latest National Building Code already includes features designed to make homes easier to adapt. That includes a wider entrance, reachable switches and outlets, and reinforced bathroom walls for future grab bars. The code was developed with input from people with lived experience. The agreement also asks Ottawa to create a national fund to help retrofit older buildings. The federal government hasn't announced a commitment to that, and each province will still have to adopt and enforce common rules. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Our Tandy Vera is at Drop-In Dance Center today, learning about the upcoming Heathers musical. We'll have details coming up after the break. CTV's Tandy Vera is live this morning at Drop-In Dance Center, and she's learning all about Heathers the musical. It's coming to a Winnipeg stage later this summer.
Yes, it is, and it's an iconic production, and I'm joined right now by Chloe and Salita, both stage managers. Now, Chloe, chat to us about your origin story, how you joined Recycled Talent Productions, which is putting on Heathers the Musical.
Well, I initially saw the company's performance of Footloose in 2023, and I just immediately knew I wanted to be a part of this company. I thought it was just so amazing how they bring people from all backgrounds and all experience levels together to create art. And so I sent an email just begging them basically to let me be a part of the company, and thankfully they took a chance on me and allowed me to be a part of this production.
That's amazing. We love that. And Salita, this is your first time being a stage manager. Chat us through what made you have that decision.
with Recycled Talent. I had been on stage with several of the shows before, and this was just an opportunity to spend more time with my husband, Dan Hall, the director, in a different capacity with Recycled Talent.
That's so cool, so much fun. Now, what do you feel for both of you has been the biggest challenge being stage managers?
Probably there's just so many people involved, which is great, don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's hard to keep track of where every single person needs to be, which is why recording has become our best friend, so we can make sure everyone's where they need to be and keep track of everyone in every number.
And Facilia, what's been your biggest challenge?
I think maybe from time to time, if Chloe's not there or if I'm not there, the notes we take in the script, sometimes things will change and I'll have to erase something that she's done, and just communicating all those little details.
And just lastly, really quickly, what can audiences expect? What's the vibe for this production?
There's definitely a lot of big fun. It's gonna be a lot of singing, a lot of dancing, a lot of laughing when maybe you think you shouldn't be laughing. And I think it's just gonna be all around so fun. We have such a talented cast and it's really exciting.
That's so fun. And just really quickly, just quick reminders for people.
Well, because of some trigger warnings for violence and language, among other things, this is a 14+ show, so that's something to keep in mind. We will also be having a 50-50 draw before the show. At intermission, we will pull the name, and we also have a live band, which I think makes our shows a little bit more vibrant, having the live band right there.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. We're out of time, but you got to check out this production.
Thanks, Tandy. Catherine, they were talking about singing, dancing, some laughter. How's the weather shaping up today? Am I going to be needing a little dance number later?
Maybe if you're dancing for joy, if you happen to really like sunshine, or there's also that outside chance you could do a little number from singing in the rain, because there's a low chance of a little bit of moisture out there. 19 degrees, couple clouds here or there, quite hazy as well. Winds out of the northeast at 10 kilometers per hour. Pressure on the rise, humidity sitting at 95%. So yes, sunshine abounds, so does that heat, and with such, there's always that chance of some rainfall or thunderstorm activity. You can see some little disturbances there popping up on our radar, isolated scattered thunderstorms. And meanwhile, that is always kind of the case when we have heat to this degree. In fact, warnings have been in effect for the last number of days. They continue today in this little slice of Manitoba lit up there in yellow, Winnipeg included in that club, because the humidex is going to feel anywhere from 35 to 40 degrees today. And this is one of the cooler days to come. So likely we're going to be sticking with those heat warnings through the week as that humidity persists. In terms of our heat, 21 degrees in the morning, already 27 by early afternoon, getting a little bit warmer than that by early evening. In fact, we're going to get a little touch higher than that for our high, 29 degrees, 26 is what's seasonal. Winds are going to be light, not much of a factor. They do ramp up a little bit out of the southwest overnight at 20 kilometers per hour. Temperatures dipping down to 18 degrees. That low chance of showers, maybe some thunderstorms persisting overnight and into tomorrow. You can see why. I mentioned heat and moisture equals the chance of thunderstorms. The heat here 32 degrees on Tuesday and Wednesday, so it's going to be a hot stretch.
One man has been arrested and charged after police say he threw bricks and rocks into the windows of multiple homes and a school over the weekend. Police said 6 homes and a high school in the Crescentwood area had their windows and glass doors damaged. In some of those incidents, police say the suspect confronted the homeowners, threatened them, and then stole items. When police arrived, the suspect was seen walking down the street with a broken liquor bottle. The 35-year-old man is now facing several charges, including 7 counts of break and enter. Police estimate damage costs are at around $25,000. The province says it's found housing for 249 people who had been living in encampments. It's all part of its Your Way Home initiative launched last year with the goal of ending chronic homelessness. The number is an increase from the 186 people announced in February. Housing Minister Bernadette Smith says the province has moved individuals into transitional and permanent supported housing with the assistance of local partners. But in April, End Homelessness Winnipeg said the number of people becoming homeless in the city was rising faster than efforts to find them stable housing. The Manitoba government says it's hoping to find housing for 700 Manitobans living in camps by 2031. New this morning, police are investigating a shooting which happened near the U.S. consulate in Toronto. According to police officers, heard a gun go off near the consulate. This was a little before 5 this morning. It's not clear if the building was hit, but police have found at least one shell casing. No injuries were reported and no suspect has been identified. Police have kept a presence at the U.S. consulate since it was the target of a shooting back in March. More than 130 wildfires are now burning across BC.
Many of the areas in BC, especially in the southern half of the province, have dry fuels that are receptive to ignition. And so when we get the conditions we've seen recently with lightning, especially when it's not coming with rain, and that heat and dry weather and wind, it makes it really easy for new fires to ignite and for those fires to burn aggressively.
The BC Wildfire Service says it's at capacity with its resources, but help is on the way. Working with the Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre, crews and resources will start arriving today with 25 personnel from Yukon Protective Service, 66 from Alberta Wildfire are coming tomorrow, and 114 personnel from Mexico will arrive August 3rd. There is also a planned evacuation set to take place today for residents of 70 Mile House and surrounding areas after the Pear Lake and 59 Creek wildfires merged Saturday evening. In Ontario, there are more than 130 wildfires still burning, including what is now the largest recorded fire in the province's history. It's been labeled Thunder Bay 36 and spans more than 315,000 hectares. Recent rainfall has slowed its activity, but officials say it is still considered out of control. Additional crews from Alberta have arrived to help. Crews are working to find and extinguish hotspots along the fire perimeter. A new study shows more emergency room doctors are choosing to leave Canada over what's being called a broken system. A national survey finds 1 out of every 10 emergency physicians in Canada has left their specialty, while the vast majority of others are reducing hours or taking time off to manage burnout. Authors of the Canadian Medical Journal paper say the loss of emergency physicians marks a crisis for the Canadian system. It also comes at a time when millions of Canadians don't have a primary care provider. The nation's blood supply is dwindling. That's according to the Canadian Blood Services, who say there are far fewer donations happening. The organization says its inventory has fallen about 20% over the past 6 weeks. All this as they see far fewer donation appointments than expected each week. Canadian Blood Services say patient care has not been affected by the decreasing supply of blood, but they're looking to rebuild their supplies before hospitals become affected. Every blood type is needed, but that the O-negative type is especially valuable since it can be given to almost anyone. Some road closures to remind you about this morning on Plessis. The northbound median lane will be closed from Dugald Road to Kernahan Avenue. Following the rush, the westbound curb lane on Notre Dame will be closed between Tentler and King Edward Street, and the curb lane on the intersection between Main and Portage will be closed from Lombard to Notre Dame Avenue. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400. And taking a look at your gas prices in Winnipeg, the average is $1.71, a slight drop from yesterday, and the lowest price in the city is $1.57. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
19 degrees outside right now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more CTV, Your Morning Winnipeg.
Hazy and sunny and hot. It is 19 degrees out there. Lots of sunshine. 1 or 2 clouds starting to join us. Winds are light out of the northeast. Pressure rising. Humidity sitting at 95%. Monday shaping up to be another steamy one. No surprise to those out there in southern Manitoba, because that's been the theme for the weekend, and we're continuing with it into the week. As such, we do have some scattered thunderstorms showing up on our radar, mostly in central portions of our province. But much of the province, actually, on that note, has a chance of some rain and thunderstorms throughout the day. That's always the case when it's this hot. You can see heat warnings persisting through the day. In this little slice of yellow here are those areas affected, Winnipeg included. Environment and Climate Change Canada warns that humidex values could feel anywhere from 35 to 40, downright balmy, even dangerous in certain cases if you're spending those prolonged periods outside. For us here in Winnipeg, we're getting up to a high of 29 degrees. Again, that does not take into account the humidex, and those winds staying pretty light out of the north at 15 kilometers per hour. And then that outside chance of rain and thunderstorms, which will be dogging us for the next couple of days to come. Certainly the case overnight as temperatures dip down to 18 degrees. Winds shifting out of the southwest at 15 kilometers per hour. They ramp up into tomorrow, as does the heat. 32 degrees, not my favorite. Winds a little bit stronger, maybe something to cool us down there. And again, that low chance of thunderstorms is possible as well. From there, Mother Nature's not letting up. 32 degrees on Wednesday on hump day, clear sunny skies, but we do cloud over into Thursday. Temperatures losing a little bit of steam, 29 degrees, dropping off even more so on Friday with that low chance of showers. But we're starting to clear up in time for the weekend with more hot highs. 28 degrees on Saturday, 29 on Sunday. And if you can believe it, this heat dome that we're in is likely to stretch into the next week to come, so likely some more very hot values on the other side of the weekend.
Thanks, Catherine. Tandy Vera is at Drop-In Dance Center. She's learning about Heathers the Musical this morning. Who are you chatting with now, Tandy?
I'm chatting with some iconic characters. I'm joined by Mariah and Jay. Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, I don't want to give too much away, so I'll let them explain. Mariah, what character do you play?
I play Veronica Sawyer.
And can you tell me a bit more about your character?
Yes, absolutely. Veronica is an extremely intelligent teenager. She's really, really strong-willed, but at the same time, she just wants to be accepted by the cool, popular girls in the school.
I can relate to that. Everyone has with that high school feeling. And Jay, what character are you playing?
I'm playing JD.
And can you tell us a bit more about JD?
JD is a really complicated guy. He has moved around a lot and is just kind of trying to find his place in the world. And Veronica sees something in him that leads him on a little bit of a different path.
Interesting, interesting. Now, what drew you both to these characters?
I was definitely drawn because I very much see a mirror of myself from when I was in high school, like knowing that I have a good head on my shoulders, but also just really wanting to be friends with those girls.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone can relate to that sort of feeling. And what drew you to the character of JD?
It can be really fun to play the villain, and so I was really looking forward to that opportunity and that challenge. And I think also you got to find a lot of love for a villain when you play it in order to make them believable. And I think that JD is a deeply sympathetic character. I think people can, as much as you don't condone the actions that he takes throughout the show, you can understand where he's coming from when he does them. So I think he's just like a really complex and interesting character, and also gets to sing some really great songs.
That's great, yeah. And love a villain sometimes. And what's the biggest challenge for you so far playing the character Veronica?
The challenge is probably being able to have a steady ground of seriousness under a show that's really campy and fun. There's a lot of heavy material that we kind of disguise with these like super bumpy numbers, but it is a big deal.
And just real quickly before we're out of time, what song or scene is your favorite without giving too much away?
Sure. I love singing 17. It's really nice to get to sing a duet with someone who's such a powerhouse vocalist, and the harmonies are just so beautiful, and I feel like you're going to come away singing that song from the show for sure.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You don't want to miss this iconic musical, so you got to catch it August 19th and 20th.
Measles has continued its historic resurgence in the United States. The record number of cases now at a 30-year high. CTV's Michael Serapio with more on those numbers and why Canada is also facing a challenge.
This is an infection that still kills about 100,000 people on the planet every year.
For infectious diseases specialist Dr. Isaac Bogosh, they are numbers that cannot be ignored. 2,318 measles cases in the United States, confirmed by that country's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and reported Friday. More cases than all of last year, more than all measles cases reported in the U.S. from 2000 to 2024.
I would be shocked if we did not lose our measles elimination status.
And if the U.S. did, it would join Canada, which lost its status in 2025 after reporting more than 5,000 cases. As for this year, the Public Health Agency of Canada says 1,102 measles cases have been reported, with 1,020 cases confirmed as of last week and 82 probable. The vast majority of those infected being people who were unvaccinated or under-vaccinated, with Canada falling well under the goal of getting 90 to 95% of people immunized.
Because the virus that causes measles is so aggressive and so easily transmissible, you really need that very high rate of vaccination.
Only 82 to 85% of children now get immunized against the measles in Canada, a lower rate than a generation ago, with misinformation on social media being a factor, access to primary care another, and a ripple effect from the pandemic.
We also can't ignore people's mistrust of government and public health, possibly from overreach during the pandemic.
And Dr. Bogosh says this all creates a public health challenge that needs to be addressed. And for some context, back in 2006, when more than 90% of Canadian children were immunized against the measles, in that year, only 16 cases were reported.
All right, let's see who's celebrating a milestone today. Happy 37th birthday to son Stevie Ray. Love mom, Les and Dacia, grandsons Dax and son Danton, and all your family. And happy birthday, Maureen. Love mom, Doug, Chad, and the fur babies. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
It is going to be a hot one out there, 29 degrees, a couple degrees above what's typical for this time of year, but we're thankfully shy of that record set back in 1988, 34.5. That does not sound enviable. However, we do have temperatures kind of in that ballpark still to come this week. Currently, though, 19 degrees. I'm starting to feel it. The humidex definitely starting to kick in. It's currently mostly sunny out here, although there's a little bit of haze. It is, for the most part, dissipated. Winds light out of the northeast, pressure rising, humidity sitting at 95%. So through much of the province, there's a low chance of rain or thunderstorms today. That is constantly the case when temperatures are this high, when there's this much humidity and moisture in the area. I sound like a broken record. That's going to be the case throughout much of the week. Temperatures will be hot in the upper 20s for us here in Winnipeg. As such, heat warning still in effect. Winds will be light. Meanwhile, the northeast may be a little bit cooler for you. Temperatures in the low to mid 20s. The strongest chance of precipitation actually coming in Thompson. It's already started to rain there this morning. Rain and thunderstorms are expected throughout the day, while we here in the rest of the province have about a 30% chance of that. Winds will remain light today and then kicking up slightly overnight in the south, out of the southeast at 15 kilometers per hour. I mentioned some hotter temperatures, 32 degrees likely tomorrow in Winnipeg.
Thanks, Catherine. Internet searches are using artificial intelligence can become a major headache, as one restaurant in Ontario found out. CTV's Jeff Pickle has the story.
I don't think so either. But like that, you know what I mean? Like how confusing that is?
It was a heart-stopping moment for Anna May's owner, Amanda Herford.
Panic is what I was thinking. How could this information be so wrong?
A friend sharing a Google search results describing the upcoming closure of her restaurant.
Anna May's Bakery and Restaurant in Millbank, Ontario, officially closed on July 31st, 2026. The beloved, long-running establishment, famous for its roasted chicken and homemade pies.
The problem started a week before when another Anna May's in Illinois announced their closure. But she says the search results at that time were clear it was a different store.
If you actually looked up our name or our website or anything, it came up normal, it came up fine, everything looked as is, it said nothing about us closing.
That changed over the weekend when the Google AI results gave very specific information that Anna May's in Millbank was closing. Herford says people started calling, asking if they were shutting down.
So that's when I got very concerned, thinking this misinformation can ruin a business and perceptions of people and like spread false information very quickly.
According to experts, this type of mistake is common.
When you don't have a human in the loop and there's information that's being scraped and being processed, there is a very real possibility that errors can happen.
While Anna May's mix-up appears to be an innocent mistake, sometimes the intentions can be nefarious.
And AI has made it really easy for scammers to replicate websites. So what a lot of people are seeing now is deals that are just Too good to be true. Stores shutting down, liquidation sale.
Herford says thankfully the problem was resolved quickly through the Google chatbot.
I just decided to put into the messages saying, hi, we are the owners, we are not closing. I think you have us confused with the Anna Mays in Illinois that is closing. And then it wrote back and said, oh yes, I can see how this could be detrimental and we will get this fixed in our research right away.
Jeff Pickle, CTV News, Millbank.
Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, the adaptation of ancient literature, is selling out theaters across the country. CTV's Alison Bamford traveled to one of only 9 IMAX theaters in the country, screening the film.
Film has to go in the projector upside down.
A winding maze of film, threaded, then inspected before every screening.
I'm going to triple check my work and make sure that everything's where it's supposed to be.
Ryan Halota is getting ready for the first run of the day of Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
After years of war.
The mythic action-adventure was shot in a way that's never been done before, using brand new technology.
It's the very first feature-length movie that was shot from start to finish, every scene with an IMAX film camera.
Regina's Kramer IMAX Theatre at the Saskatchewan Science Centre is one of only 9 theatres in Canada and 41 worldwide, screening the movie in 70mm IMAX.
This really is that format that Mr. Nolan intended his movie to be seen in.
The movie is nearly 3 hours long and is projected from this print of film, which weighs over 600 pounds and all stretched out would be more than 17 kilometers long. But it's what's on the screen that's packing people into IMAX theaters.
Massive screen, better sound. It makes for a lot better experience than a regular theater, I think.
I tried getting a screening earlier, but they were all selling out.
Bob Parker drove an hour from Moose Jaw just to see it.
I read the Odyssey back in when I was in university, and I know it's a great story, and we just thought to see it all on the big screen would be, I think, really worth coming.
The Regina Theatre has hosted viewers from Manitoba, Ontario, BC, and the United States, as far away as Texas. People making their own real-life Odyssey just to see the film.
Essentially, every show has been sold out.
Screenings have been extended into late August, and Halota doesn't expect demand to die down for this year's summer blockbuster. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Regina.
Hey everyone, Jermaine Franklin inside the SportsCenter newsroom with your must-see moment from Sunday. And for it, we're heading to Citi Field in New York. Dodgers, Mets, they lay down 5 in the 8th with 2 outs, but threatening with the bases juiced and Teoscar Hernandez at the dish. Luke Weaver induces a swinging bunt from Hernandez. Looks like trouble, but check out the play from Weaver. Unreal throw while falling into foul territory. Incredible athleticism from the former Blue Jays 19th round draft pick. Ending the threat as the Mets avoid being swept by the defending champs. Definitely worthy of your must-see moment. And we've got more from the Diamond for you tonight. Cubs, Cardinals, in another chapter of the classic NL Central rivalry, kicking off a 4-game set. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern across the TSN network. That's all from the SportsCenter newsroom. Have a great day.
The TSN must-see moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Monday, July 27th. Today, cleanup time. But it's still not clear how much time it could take to make Dawson's flood-ravaged health center ready again to receive patients. Also today, after considerable cost and controversy, vehicles will cross between Detroit and Windsor for the first time ever on this soaring structure named for a hockey legend. And you're not alone if this item reminds you of a famous cough drop commercial, but it's actually a Swiss festival that's keeping a musical tradition alive. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. I'm Daniel Halmerson, and she's Catherine Dow, and we're wishing you a wonderful Monday here in Manitoba. Tandy Vera is learning a little bit about a musical coming to a Winnipeg stage later this summer. It's all based on Heathers, the cult classic movie from the 80s. And coming up at 8:15, I'm going to talk to Cancer Care Manitoba about the ovarian cancer care crisis happening and the treatments they need. But let's talk about the weather. Pretty nice weekend overall, a little hot, but and it looks like rather those temperatures are going to kick around for a few more days.
Yeah, Mother Nature has hit a theme. She's sticking with it into the start of this week and really into the week ahead. 19 degrees, sunny, slightly hazy still, mix of sun and cloud here or there. Winds out of the northeast at 10 kilometers per hour. Looks like the barometric pressure is on the rise this hour. Meanwhile, the humidity at 95%. So yes, it was a hot weekend, looking to be a hot week ahead. We saw, I don't know where you were at in the city, if you were in the city at all, that when I was in downtown Winnipeg yesterday, we had a little bit of thunderstorm activity. My dog was not loving it. You can see some areas in central Manitoba also dealing with something similar, those isolated scattered showers, maybe some instability wrapped into that system. But for the most part, any of those flare-ups will be short-lived. The meaning, or the reason for the season rather, is our heat warnings. Yes, it's been so hot, and those heat warnings extending into today, likely not going to be lifted in the days to come. Winnipeg included in that. In fact, our humidex could make it feel anywhere from 35 to 40 degrees, sweltering, very hot. You're going to want to make sure you're taking lots of breaks if you must spend time outside today. Meanwhile, a good portion of the province has a chance of rain and thunderstorms, but the surest shot is coming in and around Thompson. In fact, you've already seen the rainfall. This is the system here that's the culprit, so likely some rain and thunderstorms continuing for you throughout the day. But you can see it clips out pretty quickly out of your neck of the woods. While we could see a little bit of moisture here or there, again, nothing substantial. That is until we see this system roll in, likely to bring rain to portions of northern Manitoba overnight and into tomorrow and lasting into tomorrow as well. One of our sure shots today, this week, is likely our heat as well. 29 degrees is our high, 26 is what's typical, and if you can believe it, getting even hotter into tomorrow. Your weather art of the day, Cody drew this one, just 11 years old. Lovely picture there of the rainbow and those geese. Thanks for submitting, and if you would like to submit your child's weather art of the day, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, fill out the form, because your art can be shown on Your Morning Winnipeg, but it is also going to enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift card from Crockadoodle at Keniston and Regent.
The weather art of the day is brought to you by Crockadoodle Paint Your Own Pottery, now open on Regent and Keniston.
Cleanup continues at Dauphin Regional Health Centre after flooding forced its closure.
Yes, pretty much everything must be destroyed. There are some of newer aspects of the mechanical system that, the engineers are assessing to see if any of it can be cleaned, reused, but for the most part, most of it will need to be thrown out.
Prairie Mountain Health CEO says that's because clinical-grade infection control must be followed. Laundry, food services, and a pharmacy were just some of the services impacted by flooding. The basement also houses computer servers, which serve not only Dauphin, but other parts of the region as well. The health authority says it's still too early to know how much all this will cost. Although the damage is extensive, there are no structural concerns. However, there's still no timeline for when Dauphin Health Centre will welcome back patients. The health authority says it's working on setting up a patient service centre in Dauphin. It'll be for patients considered low acuity who need services such as having their blood drawn, x-rays, and EKGs. Meantime, a virtual town hall will give area residents a chance to learn more about this and ask questions. That's happening July 30th at 6:30 p.m. You can register for the town hall through Shared Health's website. After months of controversy and several delays and setbacks, the Gordie Howe International Bridge is set to officially open to traffic today.
This is a fabulous piece of architecture. It's a towering symbol of our friendship, and no amount of political rhetoric in Washington is going to change that.
The issue started back in February when President Donald Trump insisted the U.S. would have to be compensated before he would allow the bridge to open. Canada then agreed to make some adjustments to the previously agreed upon revenue sharing structure. Jump ahead to July, Canada held an opening ceremony on Friday and disinvited American officials because of all the tariff tension. Canada paid to build the $6.4 billion structure connecting Windsor with Detroit, and now officials on both sides of the border are waiting and watching to see the first set of cars actually drive through. A traditional musical instrument is making waves in Switzerland. Take a look at this. These people people are using what's called an Alf horn. Musicians from Switzerland and around the world gathered for the International Alf Horn Festival in northern Switzerland. More than 100 people took part in competitions and performances highlighting Swiss folklore and traditions. Taking a look at the traffic out there on Keniston Sterling Line Way. One note to pass along: a construction zone closed the northbound middle and left turn lanes on Keniston between Scurfield and McGillivray. This posted speed limit's reduced to 60. Expect significant delays in that area. And we're joined now by Tandy Vera, who is at Drop-In Dance Center. She's learning about the upcoming Heathers musical. Who are you chatting with now, Tandy?
An iconic musical, Danny, with some iconic characters. The Heathers join me right now. I'm joined by Soraya, Tiana, and Shia. Now we're going to chat a bit more about them with the role of Heather. So tell me, what drew you to the role of Heather and why you decided to audition for it?
I've really fallen in love with these characters. They're such iconic characters. I think Heather McNamara on the surface is the ditzy one, big hair, no brains kind of thing. But at the end of the day, most of the time, our bullies are the most troubled people at school. They're the most insecure. And you really get to see inside her head in this show, and you really sympathize with her. At the end of the day, she's just like everybody else trying to figure it out.
Love that. And what drew you to the character of Heather?
Heather Chandler's like one of my biggest dream roles I've ever wanted to play. I've always been more inclined to playing more villain characters. I just think they're way more fun than like the ingenue. And Heather is a fun character because it's kind of like playing two characters. I won't say why. You have to come to the show to find out, but it's a lot of fun.
And for you, what drew you to the role and why did you decide to audition?
Yeah, so Heather Duke actually wasn't even the role that I had originally auditioned for. I've never played kind of a villainy type role before, so this is my first time. It's definitely been a challenge, but it's been so much fun. I'm having a blast doing it. So
that's great, and I gotta say you guys are beautiful villains if you are villains. And so far, how's it been playing that iconic role, and what do you want audiences to expect?
Ooh, I think the comparison between the cult classic movie Heathers and then seeing the show, it's going to be really interesting to watch. I think audiences are going to love it. And it's just time. We're so ready for everybody to see it.
It's amazing. And how's it been for you playing Heather so far?
Lots of fun. I have to keep reassuring people in real life that I'm not this mean. I promise I'm actually nice. But it's super fun. I'm so stoked to be able to do a lot of the iconic lines from the movies. I can't wait for audiences to be able to react to them. So it's super exciting.
That's awesome. And Shia, how's it going for you?
Yeah, no, it's great. It's also just been awesome to be alongside these two lovely, lovely Heathers. Yeah, no, it's just been so much fun, and just getting to explore everything together is really great.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us, beautiful villains, I gotta say. You gotta catch it August 19th and August 20th.
Awesome. Well, as you set the coffee maker for your Monday morning drip, maybe make a little extra. The American Heart Association says a few coffees a day may actually do you good. But of course, it's not the same for everyone. CTV's Michael Serapio reports.
Be it steamed, dripped, or just plain black, Canadians love their coffee.
For Brian?
Industry analysts estimate more than 70% of Canadians drink the caffeinated brew at least once a day, others more. But how much should Canadians be drinking before coffee becomes a health risk?
I'm not sure, probably 1 or 2.
I'd say maybe 2, because more than 2 it just sort of gives jitters.
Like 3 or 4. I would say that's what I drink every day.
Well, for coffee lovers, some good news from the American Heart Association, which said this past week when it comes to cardiovascular health, up to 5 cups of coffee a day is safe for most adults.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
And it's not just safe, it could also be beneficial.
It appears that the risks of things like heart attack, stroke, and diabetes in particular may, if anything, be actually lower among those that consume caffeinated coffee.
That said, what is safe is very individual, based on metabolism, general health, and other factors. And this guideline is only for coffee.
Those data should not be extrapolated to energy drinks.
Health Canada's guidelines are different, saying for adults the maximum daily intake should be no more than 400 milligrams or 4 cups. For women who are pregnant, trying to get pregnant, or breastfeeding, 300 milligrams or 3 cups. Now, the American guideline does not suggest to drink coffee if you don't already, but if you do, you have reason now to justify a 5th cup. Michael Serapio, CTV News, Ottawa.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years.
I never needed a reason to justify a 5th cup, but now I have one. Alrighty, Mother Nature pouring out a golden start to the day, 20 degrees. With the humidex, though, feeling closer to 26. Quite hot, balmy out there. Pretty clear, a little hazy, as you can see. Winds out of the northeast starting to pick up. Barometric pressure rising, humidity sitting at 91%. Sunshine and heat, that is our theme today throughout Winnipeg and really throughout much of the province. You can see, though, there are a couple of outside chances of rain, thunderstorms, some scattered showers, if that, concentrating mostly on the central portions of our province. However, we have a 30% chance basically throughout most of the province of that similar activity because of that heat. It always can spark some instability. In fact, heat warnings remain in effect and have been for the last number of days. Those areas in yellow likely to see humidex values at 35 to 40. So yes, it's definitely going to be a hot one and getting even hotter into the rest of the week. Details on that in a moment, but today no slouch. 29, 26 is what's typical. Those winds will be out of the north today at 15 kilometers per hour. Not much of a factor, not doing much to cool us down. And again, that low chance of rain and maybe some convection. Then overnight, temperatures dipping down to 18 degrees, if my graphics would catch up. There we go. Winds shifting out of the southwest. And again, that low chance of rain and thunderstorms sticking with us. And then tomorrow, very, very hot indeed. 32 degrees, a mix of sun and clouds, stronger southerly winds and thunderstorms once again possible. Wednesday's looking clear and sweltering, 32. By Thursday, we're clouding over, cooling off slightly, if you can call 29 cool. We're going to take a break. Stay with us. Your Morning Winnipeg, just on the other side.
A sharp retreat in oil prices triggering a relief rally in stocks and bonds after a lull in hostilities in the Middle East, starting a week packed with earnings and a stack of interest rate decisions on a positive note. A stock worth following is memory chipmaker CXMT. It surged as much as 535% in its Shanghai trading debut. Lundin says infrastructure assessments conducted after the storm in Chile showed damage to 2 power line towers serving the Caserones operations. This, according to a statement from the company. The Canadian miner expects a gradual restart over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Naver shares surged as much as 13% in Seoul after NVIDIA said it would acquire a 4.5% stake in the Korean internet company under a previously announced $1 billion strategic investment deal. NVIDIA becoming a Naver shareholder is strategic validation of Naver's AI factory ambitions, not a simple financial investment, Bernstein analyst Minju Kang writes in a note. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Ovarian cancer is the leading gynecological cancer in Canada and one of the deadliest due to late-stage diagnosis. More than 8,600 Manitoban women will be diagnosed with this cancer in their lifetime, and 1 in 95 patients will die from it. That's why a new campaign called Share Your Voice is looking to get new treatments approved quicker. And joining us this morning is Dr. Leslie Roberts from Cancer Care Manitoba. Good morning, Dr. Roberts. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I understand ovarian cancer is often called a silent killer. How so?
So the challenge with ovarian cancer is that unfortunately we often diagnose it quite late because the symptoms that women experience are very vague and often they're dismissed. It can be things like a little bit of constipation, a little bit of bloating, some change in the appetite. And those symptoms often don't even present until women are at an advanced stage. And so unfortunately we're not seeing and diagnosing and treating these cancers at an early stage. We're seeing them much later because symptoms don't develop until late in the disease course.
Who's most at risk for the different forms of ovarian cancer?
So ovarian cancer, generally speaking, is what we call a sporadic event, so we don't really understand what causes it. There's a subset of the population who can develop an inherited form of the cancer. Those are people who are what we call BRCA mutation carriers, which is a genetic condition that puts women at increased risk of breast and ovarian cancer. But otherwise, generally speaking, the risk factors are being a woman and aging. Like we see it more commonly in elderly women.
Now, ovarian cancer is difficult to detect and there's no dedicated test for it. Why is that?
So there is, as you say, no screening test for ovarian cancer, and that's because ovarian cancer in its early stage is confined to either the very end of the fallopian tube or very microscopically on the ovary, and there's nothing we can do to see that. So an ultrasound scan doesn't pick that up. Blood tests don't identify cancer at that stage. Once the cancer is advanced, we can certainly see it with ultrasounds or CT scans, and then we can get a tissue biopsy. But in the early stages, unfortunately, we are unable to detect it, and therefore we cannot screen for it.
Now, right now, treatment options for ovarian cancer are very limited here in Canada. Tell us a little bit about the Share Your Voice campaign and what you're pushing for.
Certainly. I'm going to provide a little bit of context first. So treatment options for ovarian cancer in what we call the frontline setting, so upon initial diagnosis, are actually excellent. We have lots of treatment options available. The challenge is that while ovarian cancer is very responsive to treatment in the short term, the cancer often comes back. And in the recurrent setting, that's where we start to struggle a little bit more. Recurrent ovarian cancer is felt to be incurable, and our treatment options, as you say, are limited. There are some new medications that are coming through the market that are not currently available in Canada. They've been approved by Health Canada, but they have not yet been funded. The Share Your Voice campaign is a campaign that Ovarian Cancer Canada is putting forward. That's our national patient advocacy group. And essentially they're trying to get the voice of patients, loved ones of patients, practitioners who are looking after ovarian cancer patients to speak together to push the government to negotiate with pharmaceutical companies to get new medications available to our patients.
And how can people at home watching this right now get involved and share their voices?
So Share Your Voice is an online campaign. So if you look up Ovarian Cancer Canada or the Share Your Voice campaign, there's lots of ways that you can speak up and advocate. Also, if you have a loved one or a family member or yourself are suffering from ovarian cancer, you can always reach out to your local parliamentarian and write letters and push for movement in that way.
Well, thank you, Dr. Roberts, for joining us this morning and sharing more on this crisis.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Sunny and hazy start to our Monday out here in downtown Winnipeg. It's 20 degrees. That humidex sweltering already, feeling more like 26. Winds are out of the northeast at 11 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, humidity at 91%. So yes, heat warnings continue across southern Manitoba, Winnipeg included. That's because humidex values not only today but in the next couple of days to come likely to be anywhere from 35 to 40 degrees. So needless to say, if you are working outside or spending any sort of time outside, do take those precautions to protect yourself. Brakes, water, sunscreen, shade, everything. Because yes, these temperatures can indeed be punishing, if not dangerous. In terms of our temperatures, we're looking at highs of about 29 degrees in Winnipeg, and that's similar throughout southern Manitoba. In fact, through all of the province, very similar. Highs in the upper 20s, a little bit cooler in the northeast. Good chance of rain and thunderstorms through Thompson. You've already had a little bit of moisture this morning, while the rest of us, that low chance of rain and thunderstorms persisting, really dogging us today, tonight, and tomorrow. That's because this heat makes these conditions very susceptible for that kind of instability. Temperatures overnight, again with that same thunderstorm risk, dipping down to the upper teens. Excuse me. Your Skywatch picture of the day, picturesque and lovely in Deerwood with that sunset. Thanks for sending that in, Jeanette, and keep your weather pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
It's one of Canada's premier accessible sailing organizations, and it's right here in Winnipeg. Able Sail hosts people with disabilities at Fort White Alive. Getting on the water is an opportunity made possible by community support. United Way Winnipeg is funding the mission. CTV's Ainsley McPhail explains in this month's commitment to community.
We're here at Fort White Alive, where ILRC is getting on the water. Doug is joining us now. Tell us about your group.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. We're called the Independent Living Resource Center. We're a cross-disability, cross-age nonprofit. We've been around since 1984, delivering over 20 programs and projects to support persons with disabilities to be as independent as possible and live in their community as long as possible with the right supports.
And I mentioned getting on the water. It's a pretty cool opportunity here at 4 Wide Alive.
It's fantastic. We have our Able Sail program that supports persons with disabilities. Any ability, you can sail a sailboat. There was a 91-year-old lady who came to us one day, walking up to the dock in her walker, and she said, I wish I could have done that when I was younger. And I said, you're doing it today. It was her 91st birthday, and she came off the water and said, this is the best birthday present I've ever had. So that's what our program does for people, and it's for anybody. You don't think, well, except me. That's not true. Anybody of any ability can sail a sailboat. They're non-tippable, non-sinkable Martin 16s. We have a safety boat on the water, and we have a lifting device built onto the dock, so anybody of any ability can sail our boats.
And all with the help of United Way.
Yes, they sponsor a lot of our programs. One in particular is our PACE, Personal Attendant Community Education. So that program trains care staff, directed, delivered, designed by persons with disabilities, so that, again, they can remain in their community, live the quality of life that they desire as long as possible.
ILRC meets the needs of the specific individual, from lift and transfer to their untippable structure. These boats are ensuring participants are getting active. Our next guest has been participating since 2001. Jackie Rosner joins us now. Wow, that's quite a long time to be on the water, Jackie.
I enjoy the sailing, and I'm grateful there's a program for people with physical and other challenges so we can come out and sail and enjoy the summer.
And what about this particular sailboat makes it accessible?
They have a Hoyer lift to get people that are handicapped that can't get in and out of the boat on their own, and they take people in and out on a Hoyer lift.
What do you enjoy about it?
I enjoy the freedom and the boat just sailing freely in the wind and being out on the water.
And have you felt that you've gained over the years a large amount of independence because of this program?
Yes, it keeps me independent and it keeps me engaged in sports. Prior to disability setting in, I was very active in sports.
And do you have any good memories over the last 25 years that you want to share?
Nothing in particular stands out at the moment. I remember the first year they had an instructor here, so I was able to take level 1, 2, and 3, the White Sail program with Able Sail Manitoba, and be able to sail independently in the boat.
UnitedWayWinnipeg.ca is where you can help this amazing cause. Ainsley McPhail, Your Morning, Winnipeg.
Commitment to Community is brought to you by United Way Winnipeg, here for Winnipeg.
The morning rush looks pretty breezy out on Taché. We'll be right back with more CTV, Your Morning Winnipeg.
Starting off on a sunny note, if not hazy, 20 degrees with that humidex already in effect, feeling closer to 26. Winds are light out of the northeast. Pressure is rising. Humidity sitting at 91%. Heat warnings continuing across southern Manitoba. The slice lit up there in yellow represents those warnings because the humidex today, it's already at 26. Through the next today and the next good part of the week, it's going to feel more like 35 to 40 degrees at times. So that's heat warning territory. With that, temperatures are going to be very warm, although this is kind of the most moderate section of our province here in the northeast. 24 degrees in Thompson, where there's the strongest chance throughout Manitoba of some rain and thunderstorm activity today. You've already had a little bit of rain today. You have about a 60% chance of it continuing. Meanwhile, Lynn Lake is likely to see a little bit of rainfall. The rest of the this stretch basically dry and decently clear at 21 degrees over in Churchill, 22 over in Gillam, where it's a little bit cloudier today. To the northwest, low chance of rain and thunderstorms. Temperatures very hot, 27 degrees in Opaskwayak, Cree Nation, La Pas, 24 in Lynn Lake. Southwestern Manitoba temperatures balmy, hot, 29, but of course that humidex is going to kick that up a notch. 28 in Dauphin and Swan River with that low chance of rain and convection. Much the same for Winnipeg and the surrounding Red River Valley. Low winds with that out of the north at 15 kilometers kilometers per hour. Northwestern Ontario, clear in Red Lake, low chance of rain and thunderstorms in Kenora, Dryden, and Fort Francis. Looking ahead onto the rest of the week, while we're getting up to 29 today, it's going to be one of our lowest values in the next stretch. 32 on Tuesday and Wednesday. That low chance of showers persisting into tomorrow. A little bit of a break by the end of the week.
Multiple vehicles were seen hitting speeds of 200 kilometers an hour by police after reports of street racing in Winnipeg early Sunday, which resulted in one man being arrested. It happened along the Disraeli Freeway around 2 a.m. as a Corvette and other vehicles were seen racing. With the help of the police helicopter, several vehicles were seen hitting their top speeds at the Nairn overpass before splitting in different directions. Police tried to pull a Jeep in the Corvette over at La Jamodier and Regent. The Jeep stopped and the driver was ticketed. However, the driver of the Corvette fled. After abandoning the vehicle, the driver and a passenger of the Corvette were found on Poplar Street. One was taken to hospital after being caught by a police dog. A 20-year-old man has been charged with dangerous operations of a vehicle and fleeing police. He was released on an appearance notice. None of the other vehicles involved were identified, police said. A local developer is appealing a variance for a large housing project adjacent to the Granite Curling Club. John Winthrop, who lives across the river, is appealing the variances previously approved for the 12-story mixed-use building. The city permitted the building to reach 126 feet instead of the normally allowable 100 feet and made some allowances for parking stall size and landscaping. Winthrop is appealing on the grounds that the project does not comply with the zoning bylaw and says the project as approved doesn't fit with the neighborhood. An appeal hearing is set for next Thursday. The project has been at the center of a dispute between the city and the nearby curling club, which is worried about the loss of its parking spaces. Artificial intelligence is getting more useful every day. It is now able to spot fake art. It's already helped a team of experts root out copies of Canadian Master that had flooded the market. CTV's Kamal Karamali with how it works.
Treasure trove of stunningly visual paintings, beautiful enough to be up on display, but instead tucked away in the basement of this small-town Ontario home.
What's the overall value of
all of this? Was once worth a lot of money.
Between $600,000 and $700,000.
Until they were all discovered to be fake.
That's one of the red flags.
Circulating around Canada's art scene, posing as authentic pieces painted by Norval Morrisseau. The artist known as the Picasso of the North died 2 decades ago, but since then thousands of forgeries have flooded the market, selling for millions. That is until Jonathan Zimanovich and his team stepped in.
Anytime we can take a fake painting off the market to help stabilize the market.
Removing more than 50 this year alone.
It's been pretty easy to tell with these specific types of paintings.
And there are certain telltale signs that these paintings are fake, like these lines being way too thick.
Morrisseau's black lines were not this thick. They were much more controlled.
While other signs are more obvious.
People we know who painted with him said he never did that.
But their work is just beginning.
We estimate that there are still somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 more fakes.
And that's where AI and new technology comes in. It's already able to spot fake paintings, finding tiny details not consistent with an artist's style.
There are certain colors, brush strokes, supports that characterize a painting.
But that same technology is also giving copycat painters the power and knowledge of any artist's style, so they can make exact replicas by hand.
It's not a question of will this happen. I absolutely am sure that it will happen if it's not already happening now.
For now, this Ontario-based art authentication firm choosing to do things the old-fashioned way.
The sales values of these paintings on the open market have gone down over 70%.
A relief to you?
That's a great relief to us.
With a lot more paintings to examine in excruciating detail. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Pelham, Ontario.
Taking a look at the current traffic situation on Pembina. Looks like a smooth drive. If you have any traffic tips to pass along, text them to us at 10400. And taking a look at your gas prices here in Winnipeg, the average is $1.71, a slight drop from yesterday, and the lowest price in the city is $1.57. All this information is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
All right, time now for your answers to our question of the day. What's your favorite place to go for a walk? Kildonan Park for Susan, and Marlene says St. Vital Park for nature and the Vegas Strip for fun. Teresa shared, my favorite place to walk is Kildonan Park. I've walked from home to the park, around the park several times, and then home. Kings Park is Cameron's favorite place for walks. Craig says, I don't walk much anymore, but the active transportation path along Sturgeon Creek is amazing. Eve and Helen, their favorite place for walks is Hecla Island. Olivier shared a peaceful walk on the Trans-Canada Trail along Lac Ronde in St. Leon, where you see trees, hear birds sing, and feel the windy breeze. And Kathy's answer, when she lived in Charleswood, it was definitely the Hart Trail. Now that she lives in River Heights, she just loves to walk in her neighborhood and check out the beautiful gardens. And for James, his favorite place to walk is wherever the dog leads him. Thank you all for your responses.
Question of the day, brought to you by Provivo, Manitoba's #1 cool sculpting clinic, science-backed body contouring.
CTV's Tandy Vera is at Drop-In Dance Center this morning learning all about the upcoming Heathers musical. She's chatted with the cast and crew. What are you up to now, Tandy?
Well, Danny, right now you're in store for some big fun and iconic moments with the show upcoming. I'm joined again here by Dan, also music director Liz, as well as one of the cast members, Kiera. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, music plays such a big role in this musical, obviously because it's a musical. Can you describe a little bit of it for us, please?
Of course. So the musical takes place in 1989. So a lot of the music is heavily influenced by the 80s. There's even references in the songs to other songs and artists from the 80s. Lots of punk, lots of funk, pop and rock, tons of different styles of music, things that you're not going to expect from a normal musical. Our cast gets to sing a whole bunch of different styles and lots of ensemble work, which is really nice when you have a big cast.
Sounds like so much fun. And Kiera, you're one of the cast members. Can you tell us what role you're playing and what that involves?
I'm part of the ensemble, and I'm also girl 2 in Candy Store. Yeah.
And how's it going so far?
Oh, I love it. I love doing anything I can do to be a part of any kind of show I am grateful for. So I just love doing anything. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's great. So much fun. And Dan, kind of looking ahead, you've already announced 2028's production. Can you chat more about that?
Oh, no, I haven't announced the production in 2028, but we'll be doing a show. We do a show every 2 years, so next year will be a gap year, and then we'll have another show in 2028.
Okay, perfect. So that's people to keep in mind if they want to audition or just join the team. And lastly, what should people keep in mind for this upcoming musical?
Just keep in mind that it is a 14-plus show, so there's some trigger warnings, and that it's a fun time to have. Oh, and there's a live pit band, so a lot of community theater groups don't necessarily have a live pit band. We have a live pit band, so it's really a lot of fun.
So much fun. Big fun. Good references to add. And lastly, Liz, why should people come out?
I think it's great to share in the arts. I think there's going to be a lot of people in the audience who will remember their time either fondly or less fondly in high school and really connect with the storylines, connect with the characters, have a little reminder of what it was like, and great songs from the 80s.
That's amazing. So much big fun in store. August 19th and 20th. You don't want to miss it.
Thanks so much, Tandy. Well, Catherine, any 80s songs that could tie into the weather today?
Wow, you're really putting me on the spot there. 80s song. I'm not really sure about that one. Let me think. So anything to do with sunshine, anything to do with heat, that represents about 90% of all pop music, so pick your poison there. Probably one by Poison. 20 degrees out there, the humidex making it feel closer to 26, decently clear with a little bit of haze still in effect. Winds out of the northeast, pressure is rising, humidity sitting at 91%. So yes, we are dealing with a good amount of heat. There is a slight chance of some rain and thunderstorms abounding throughout the province. You can see some scattered showers and thunderstorms there popping up in central regions of our our province. Those heat warnings have been very persistent, as of course has that heat. This area lit up in yellow are affected. That is because we're going to be dealing with humidex values anywhere from 35 to 40, not only today, but through the next couple of days to come. In terms of our heat, we're starting off warm at 21 degrees in the morning, 27 into the early afternoon, 28 by early evening. We'll do one better. 29 degrees is our high today with that low chance of rain and thunderstorms. That persists overnight as temperatures dip to 18, and then tomorrow, hot, sweltering, humid, 32 degrees not only on Tuesday, but Wednesday as well. We're going to take a break. So much more.
Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires, proudly keeping Canadians rolling for 50 years.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Some major news coming out of Comic-Con over the weekend. It included the announcement of new movies and celebrity surprises, with 2 Canadian Ryans playing a prominent role. Here's ABC's Danny New.
Robert Downey Jr.
Another San Diego Comic-Con is now in the books/comic books, where fans could pack into the convention center to see the stars of upcoming movies, or perhaps take pictures with a man they thought was just cosplaying as Deadpool.
What's on your mind, buddy?
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Only to find out later it was actually Ryan Reynolds under the mask of his on-screen character the whole time.
Perhaps joining the family of Doom.
This was during the Avengers Doomsday panel for our parent company Disney's Marvel Studios, which will see Robert Downey Jr. return to the MCU as the nefarious Dr. Doom this December. However, Marvel also unveiled brand new movies to expand the universe, including the announcement of a Ghost Rider film starring Ryan Gosling.
As you know, this is a character I've wanted to play for a very long time.
The Barbie star has been rumored to be pursuing this role for a few years now, and the film is slated to arrive in 2028.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Coogler.
Meanwhile, we learned Black Panther 3 will also be slashing its way into theaters in 2028, with director Ryan Coogler returning fresh off of winning an Oscar for his original movie, Sinners.
So our new Black Panther, Mr. David Johnson.
But the big surprise came with the introduction of a new Black Panther played by actor David Johnson, whose character will be the grown-up son of the original Black Panther played by the late Chadwick Boseman.
Sorry about that.
And now for Marvel fans, all eyes are on Spider-Man as his newest adventure hits theaters this week. If Comic-Con attendees have their way, the film might feature 2 Spider-Men reading the paper or Spider-Ross.
Ghanaian-Canadian hip-hop artist ROZ is a man of many talents. He was an integral figure in Winnipeg's golden era of hip-hop in the early 2010s. He started a music company right here in Winnipeg called EMB, and he's a champion of Afrobeats here in Canada. And because that's not enough, he also has a new album coming out. Here to give us all the details, a little sneak peek, we're joined by ROZ live now in studio. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So this is really neat. It's a new album for you. What should folks expect if they've never heard your album before or music before, if they're returning fans?
I mean, this is celebrating the 15-year anniversary of EMB, started in Winnipeg. Hip-hop music, of course, but I have a variation of Afro, like EMB's companies, like we went into the Afro lane now, whatever, so I'm just giving a blend of everything, you know what I mean? It's just a celebration, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any favorite songs?
Yes.
Is that like picking a favorite child?
Kinda, but a band's in the cut and a song called Brown Huntins with me and my brother Big Lean.
I think for non-musicians, writing music seems so impossible. So how do you come up with inspiration? How do you keep evolving and changing over so many years?
Oh, it's just a passion for the music, right? And I've got a team around me as far as EMB producers, songwriters, you know, that inspire me, you know what I mean? They motivate me, and we're always working. So yeah, that's what kind of keeps me going.
And maybe this is an early audition for the Junos, considering they're coming to Winnipeg soon?
2027, of
Wonderful.
course.
Yes. We'll put it out to the universe.
Yes.
Without further ado, you're going to give us a little sneak peek. What are you going to do for us right now?
Got Bands in the Cut and Brown Huntins off of the Emblem album.
Okay, take it away. I'll stop.
Let's go.
Let's go. Cool up in it, yeah. In a minute, I'll be in it. I'm trying to get with you. This energy you're giving me is too sensual.
sign, I can tell that you want me to. It's this energy sexual. It's natural and unintentional. I can tell when she on road, she professional. Told her make time for me and she flexible. To get flexible. Hey, sure they got a job, sure they got a car. Sure that she can pay her own rent, so she don't even want dough. This time spent, baby, I know you got dough, but I'll spend. Don't worry, I got bands in the cup. Bands in the cup, she got a drink in the cup. Dance in the dance, gas in the cup. Pass the liquor, she see the game, spin it up. Bands really up, we got bands in the cup. Bands in the cup, she got a drink in the cup. Dance in the dark, no, I can't really put. Pass the liquor, she see the game, spin it up. Bands really up. Don't mind those quiet guys, they wait for the check, we collect it, we flex quick and next for a sec, yeah, no long talking, brown hundreds in my pocket, lingerie truck when I hop in, we can get it, poppin', y'all already know how we rockin', it's problems whenever we lock in, it's about y'all until we walking, y'all really doing too much, they be doing too much. I deal with it still in the field, they get real, it's too much. Too much. Too much. Too much. Too much. Too much. Yeah, no long talking.
Gorgeous start to the day, but a very hot one. 20 degrees out there. That humidex making it feel closer to 26. One or two clouds here or there, still pretty hazy. Winds light out of the northeast, pressure rising, humidity at 91%. Heat warnings continue across southern Manitoba, and this area lit up by yellow. In yellow, rather. Winnipeg included in that, as is much of the Red River Valley and the Parkland, the Interlake, you name it, because it's going to be a hot day today. 29 degrees when 26 is seasonal, but with that humidex, it could feel closer to 35, even 40 degrees at times. With it, that low chance of rain and thunderstorm activity, not only today, but overnight and into tomorrow as our temperatures just continue that upward climb. 32 on Tuesday. Same goes for Wednesday under clearer skies. Clouding over on Thursday, losing a little bit of heat mercifully, excuse me. And into the weekend, it looks slightly cooler, slightly, if you can say cool, about highs of 27, 28, and 29. But as you can see, lots of sunshine to go along with it. We're going to take a break. Your videos of the day on the other side. Don't go anywhere.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
All right, we'll finish off Monday with a few of our videos of the day. So let's kick things off with proof that not all mascots are created equally. All right, Catherine, meet Pearl. This multi-eyed mollusk with long legs and red lips is the face of the annual Halifax Oyster Festival. The creepy crustacean even has a male counterpart named Earl. Aww. So you can catch the duo at Canada's largest raw bar in late September at the Halifax waterfront.
I think they're perfect. No notes on that. It's like Tim Burton and a mascot met.
All right, when serenading someone, you must choose a song that matches who you're singing to, and that includes animals.
Where are you? And I'm so sorry. I cannot sleep. I cannot dream tonight.
All right, so this guy nailed the song choice by legendary band Blink-182 for this emu cow. The puns are terrible. Anyways, the Highland Hiver looked utterly unfazed by the whole situation. Now you can sing to the same cow at Yonder Highlands Farm in Chilliwack.
You need to lean into those puns, Danny.
Yeah, I know.
They are excellent.
All right, finally, a new addition at the German Zoo, and it's quite tiny. This is a poo hoodoo, known as the smallest species of deer in the world. She's born back in May and about exploring. That's a good note to end on. Have a great day, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.